Good evening. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Wayne, Martin. Hello, Dave on Twitch. Welcome, welcome. Late stream tonight. Late stream. By the way, why is the purple light so far away? Let me get the purple light. There you go. Better. Thank you. I got a new cable. I got a new cable, guys. I got a new cable. Thank you so much, Ray Gonzalez, for supporting the stream. 10 Metatron gifts. W for Ray Gonzalez in chat. W in chat for Ray Gonzalez. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate your support. And we got a lot of new members. You dropped your Dodecahedron. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's late stream. You'll have to excuse me for being a little late, but I mean, that sentence doesn't really make sense because it would be the same as saying you'll have to excuse me for being Southern Italian. I mean, being late is just it's just how it is. It's just how it is, guys. So welcome everyone on DJ Doctorlo writes in Japanese for us. Ohisashiburi desu. Ohisashiburi desu to you. ¿Qué pasa? Hey, we got some, very cool. Yeah, being late is just being right on time. Thank you so much, Jasper Owens, for the gifted membership. Really appreciate that. You're the man as always. Man, 8 months. You've been a member for 8 months. That is a long time, my friend. That is a long time. Thank you so much. All right, so guys, we got some good stuff today. We got some good stuff. Guten Abend to TQ. Really appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. And so what do we have tonight? We've got a few tabs. First and foremost, so we have this video posted by the channel Joe Scott, which has 2.3 million subscribers. And the video itself, extremely popular and immediately just went viral. And it's titled, These Have Been Found All Across Ancient Rome, Nobody Knows Why. And he's, of course, talking about the Dodecahedron, and which is a fascinating topic. I was talking about it a little bit with my lead researcher, Dr. Canestrelli. I'm curious to see what he's going to say about it. I've got a few things, but not that much, because most people don't have a clue. So we're going to have to speculate a lot tonight. There's going to be quite a bit of speculation tonight. So we will. So there's that. That's one of the things we're going to check out. We are also going to check out this trailer from this new upcoming game called Chronicles Medieval. And we've got an official trailer. And yeah, I mean, this looks look at that helmet. Look at that armor. So we're definitely going to check this one out. Kind of, I think it's some sort of Mountain Blade-like game. But yeah, so we'll have to see. We're going to check this one. It's just a 1 minute and 50 seconds, so we'll definitely do that. Then I found a video, guys. It's another short one again, but I found a video, and it's this one. Jordan Peterson versus 20 Kermit the Frogs surrounded. Matt, whoever did this, you're an absolute genius, whoever you are. I don't know who you are. Brain Drain Media. But this... Oh, guys, you're gonna love this. We might even start with this one since it's just a minute. In fact, that's why I put it here because it's a matter of priority in life. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't know about you, but as far as I'm concerned, there is one thing that has priority over everything, over Rome, over the medieval period, over languages, over gaming, over everything, and it's yeah. So as I was saying, there are things that have priority in life, and it's just one of those things. So I don't know what to tell you. But I do believe that this is going to be something that we will be discussing during this live stream. Was someone? Yeah, anyways, that's definitely a video we're going to check out. And it's going to be great. And yeah, we're going to start with this one, most likely. So yeah, there's going to be that. I wonder if he's going to ask for the definition of what a frog is. But we will see. And then I found this other video called from Chat History, channel with 690,000 subscribers, completely wrong history facts in quotes that you may still believe. So this is a debunking video. A lot to watch together. I don't even know if we can make it since we are late, because of course I'm gonna be late on a day where I've got so much stuff prepared. But yeah, that's the plan of action for today. But tell me about you guys. How you guys doing? Yeah. So let me see. Yeah, it's gonna be hilarious. The Kermit one, man, I'm so gonna look forward to that. And then we're gonna get a little Japanese for us here. A little Otsukare-sama deshita. Same to you, David. I mean, I just started, I guess. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure I could be. I've earned my Otsukare-sama deshita of the day, but I still appreciate the thought. It's the thought that counts. Am I right? It's the thought that counts. Always is. By the way, yesterday night when we were on Twitch with my dear Twitch friends over here, little Twitch representation. So I was live yesterday night and we had a horror session, and goodness gracious, guys, it was. If any of you was here, you know exactly. I think Legato was here. Yeah, I can see, I can recognize you. But goodness gracious, yesterday's session was insane. Yesterday's live stream. Oh, you have no idea, man. Those games, man. I feel like I got scarred. It was great. It was absolutely fantastic. Metatron Genki desu. Anata. You can just say Genki desu ka with a question. Hi Genki desu. Arigatou gozaimasu. And yeah. So let's see. I mean, you can just say Metatron Genki and then put the question mark. You don't have to put ka. But if you put this, then you do need a ka. Yeah, Silent Still, Thunderwing. I played the first one. I played a little bit of the second one, but then it crashed. And I think I'll play it tonight a bit more because, man, those games. Ooh, that was great. Oh, you were saying you're well. I appreciate. Sorry about that then. Yeah, genki desu. Anata wa? Yeah, watashi mo genki desu. Arigatou gozaimasu. Sumimasen. Then you were correct. No, 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 not at all. Don't worry. It's fine. Not a big deal. Yeah, thank you, Felipe, for the support. You wanted to speak. Greetings from Chile. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Man, Chile, what? How's the weather where you're at? And for some reasons, when I think of Chile, I think of a hot place, but I might be wrong. How's the Switch 2? Pretty good. I haven't had a lot of time to play it. My wife, however, oh my gosh, she's been putting a lot of hours into the Switch 2, so she's really loving it. For me, I think I will like it. It's just that I need to put a bit more time into it. So yeah, it's one of those things. Let's see how we're doing tonight. Just before a little bit of chat before we move into the actual videos. And as I say, we'll begin with the Muppet because it's just how it is. Saludos, amigos latinos. Yeah, let's go. I hate frogs' legs. No. I think I depleted all my adrenaline that stream. Yeah, I know, yesterday was crazy. I'm actually looking forward to continue and play the second one. We're gonna have to redo the first level if I can find a way to remove the freaking cursor from the middle of the screen. So there is that. Doing well, Piano TM. It's good to hear. Parsival. Wow, I prefer Lancelot. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a... I think that wasn't a great performance, the latest one that Dr. Peterson had. So, yeah, but with Kermit, I think he's going to do really well. We do start with a Muppet, but it's going to be Kermit. But I will get a Miss Piggy at one point. Absolutely. Absolutely, guys. Thank you, Daniel. So good to see you here, friend. Glory to Pompey, guys. Always raise both hands. First time someone mentions Pompey in chat, we say glory to Pompey. I know you're not raising your hands. Could you please? Thank you. Appreciate that. Glory to Pompey. All right, guys. Nicholas, good to see you here. Nicholas is like omnipresent. Omnipresent. He's on both streams all the time. Nicholas is great. Yeah. Appreciate that, Philip. Thank you very much. Oh, you had a birth of your son. Yeah, that's lovely. That's lovely. What's your son's name, Philip? Augustus? Gaius Julius Caesar Octavianus Augustus? That'd be a great name. Good luck convincing a wife to give that name to a son, but still a great name. Yeah. Philip Mark. Yeah, Mark is a good one. Oh, yeah, Mark. Very cool. Very cool. I love the name Mark. You donut, I guess, but I think Muppet is better. As I was telling you the other day, Muppet is perfect for completing any sentence. And then when you do complete them with you Muppet, they sound so much better that you cannot say them anymore without the you Muppet. So you could say, as I was saying the other night, Weni, Weedy, Wiki. You Muppet. It completes it. So now that I did it, if we try and say it again, Weni, Weedy, Wiki. Feels like it's missing something, isn't it? It's just the power of Muppet. And yeah, talking about that, let me have a look very quickly. How are we doing with the live stream connection? Looking good, looking good. Yeah, connection is good. All right. Well then, ladies and gentlemen, how about we just start? Let's have a look. Okay, so I'm really looking forward to this interaction. It's only 1 minute and 6 seconds, so we are starting with the short ones and moving to the longer ones. I think that's a good. It's a good way to do it. It's a good strategy. It's a good strategy. So I just turned off my. There we go. Hello, 7. Let me turn on these very quickly. There we go. So you get audio. All right. How about we check it out? Mr. Peterson, the floor is yours.
Today I'm surrounded by 20 Kermit the Frogs.
Do you believe you are Jordan Peterson?
What do you mean by believe?
I don't know if you're copying my voice or what.
That's the circular definition.
That's the circular definition.
You stake your
You
life
stake your
on
life on it.
And you die
And you
for
die
it.
for it. I feel like I'm talking to myself here.
How much do you know about me?
Hypothetically, if you were born Jordan Peterson, but you talked like Kermit the Frog, that would just make you a human with a frog voice.
You're generating an impossible, restricted, hypothetical, with no precursors to back you into...
I can't tell them apart.
Oh my gosh.
You like eating red meat, right?
Sure.
And what do Jordan Petersons love eating more than anything else?
Why are you asking me?
Because you are Jordan Peterson.
You say that. I haven't claimed that.
Is this Jordan?
Oh my god. You say that? I haven't said that. Oh my god, he's a genius.
You like eating red meat, right?
Sure.
And what do Jordan Petersons love eating more than anything else?
Why are you asking me?
Because you are Jordan Peterson.
You say that. I haven't claimed that.
Is this Jordan Peterson versus Kermit the Frogs?
Don't be a smartass.
Either you're Jordan Peterson or you're not. Which is it?
You're really quite something.
That's because you're Jordan Peterson, you're not a frog.
Yeah, I'm done with him.
Yeah.
I respect Dr. Peterson, but I think he's losing it.
Croak, croak, ribbit, ribbit.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Oh, this was incredible. Goodness gracious. Yeah, why are you asking me that? What do you mean by believe? What do you mean by frog? What do you mean by Jordan? Define Peterson. Ooh, that was incredible. I don't know who did this. This was incredible. Wait. You say that? I didn't say that. Circular logic. Ooh, that was a great way to... Oh, mamma mia. What do you mean by Metatron? What do you mean by video? Define click. Oh, wait, sorry, guys. I gotta watch it.
Today I'm surrounded by 20 Kermit the Frogs.
Look at the animation. How they all
Do you believe you are Jordan Peterson?
What do you mean by believe?
What do you mean by believe? Which you did. That's the... You know what makes this really funny? Immediately following the channel, please do. You know what makes this really funny? Is that it looks absurd. That's exactly how he conducted himself in that interview. Exactly. Like when they were like, do you believe in God? I think it was. And he's like, define belief. What do you mean by belief? And it's like, you can say yes or no. Like, you don't need to psychoanalyze every word. So that's true. And then the section where, are you Jordan Peterson? I didn't say that. You said that. Is the section where they were asking him whether he was a Christian or not, which... Yeah, I mean, this was exactly the circular logic when it's not circular logic. That's exactly because, oh yeah, let me tell you, I remember when the circular logic part was when someone asked him, do you believe, and I don't remember what it was, but I think it was like, do you believe that there is a God, or in a God, whatever. And then he said, what do you mean by believe? And the guy gave him a definition. The guy told him, you think it to be true. Yeah, that's a good definition of belief. And he said that's circular logic. It's not. It really isn't. The only circular aspect of it is what would be circular about every dictionary definition, which is the fact that you are bound by creating a definition using other words still present in the dictionary to define whatever word it is. That's the only circularity of it. But like it's a perfect... So this is great.
Do you believe you are Jordan Peterson?
What do you mean by believe?
I don't know if you're copying my voice or what.
That's the circular definition.
Copying them, but they do sound very similar, actually.
That's the circular definition.
You stake your
You
life
stake your life on it,
and you die
and you
for
die
it.
for it. I feel
That, for example, was his definition of belief, which is incomplete. It's weird as a definition because you can absolutely... I can believe that this is Chun-Li, but I'm not willing to die for it. But I do believe that this is Chun-Li. So the two things are not... I'm not here to analyze the rhetoric. I understand that it's a whatever. But yeah.
feel like I'm talking to myself here.
How much do you know about me?
Hypothetically, if you were born Jordan Peterson, but you talked like Kermit the Frog, that would just make you a human with a frog voice.
Yeah.
Generating an impossible, restricted, hypothetical, with no precursors to back me into...
I can't tell them apart.
That part, oh my, this is genius. The part that now they took, so of course I analyzed all of this. The part where he says you're generating an hypothetical which was restricted was about, would you be willing to lie in a situation where by lying you will, for example, save someone else's life, like that, those kind of moral hypotheticals. And then he said that's an impossibility, and it's like it wasn't an impossibility. But now with the frog, oh my gosh, this is perfect.
You like eating red meat, right?
Sure.
And what do Jordan Petersons love eating more than anything else?
Why are you asking me?
Because you are Jordan Peterson.
You say that. I haven't claimed that.
Is this Jordan Peterson versus Kermit the Frogs?
Don't be a smartass.
Either you're Jordan Peterson or you're not. Which is it?
You're really quite something.
That's because you're Jordan Peterson, you're not a frog.
Yeah, I'm done with him.
Yeah, how dare you? How dare you say he's not a frog? Are we joking? Are we serious? How did... Yeah, of course I'll post a link. I'll give you the link right now. But of course he's done with him. He said he's not a frog. It's not like it's a frog supremacy situation. It's not like only Kermit can be a frog. Come on. They even have the same voice.
I respect Dr. Peterson, but I think he's losing it.
Croak, croak, ribbit, ribbit.
Ribbit, man, that is insane. So let me give you guys, I'm giving him a like immediately. I'm giving you guys the link if you want to check it out. Maybe he's got more videos like this, I don't know. That was a great way to start the stream. I absolutely loved it. In the next few days, I'm going to post a reaction to this archaeologist, by the way. I've already filmed it and edited it. So that's going to happen. But this was just to get a little bit, just to begin the stream, I guess. Here we are. Man, Jordan Peterson versus... Oh, that made my day. That was great. That was great. That was hilarious. So anyways, yeah, so we've got a J. Scott. This is a 27 minutes long. Of course, we don't react to the whole thing. Before we jump into this, since I want to move into sort of an order of length, I would like to very quickly check out this Medieval Chronicles thing, because I love that helmet. It's 1 minute 50. So I'd like to check this one out very quickly. And then we move into something a little more like intense, and we can discuss and try to do the hypotheticals and all the rest. But man, Dr. Peterson, what do you mean by subscription? Like, are you saying that you're willing to die to subscribe to this channel? It's yeah, define death. So anyways, that was that. There is one thing that I wanted to say, and it's this.
Dr. Peterson, you're not a frog. Define frog.
Anyways, so welcome. Let's have a look at this chronicle, guys. Let's have a look at this. What type of helmet is that? It's still a great helm. It's a great helm. There are some great helms that are kind of an in-between when they started developing the frog mouth, but they are still great helms, but they start getting a little extended here. Maybe it's one of those, because if you look at it, it kind of looks a little bit like the frog mouth, talking about Kermit. But yeah, no, let's have a look at this. I'm actually really looking forward to see how this one works. So without further ado, let's see what we've got. Very curious, very kind of a transitional helmet, or yeah, like an early prototype or something like that. Well, define Metatron. What's a helmet? Let's go.
Thou shalt not kill. So the priests tell us. So the Lord commands. But ambitious men do not listen.
Wow.
I sought no war, but war found me.
All right, I need to look at that very quickly. So already the armor is incredible. Yeah, thou shalt not kill, exactly. Like, look at this. We've got excellent, apart from the reflections and the water effect and all that, but if you look at the mail as well, looking phenomenal. Of course, this is a cinematic, we understand that. But still, how many cinematics have we seen where the armor looks terrible? Here, it even has the cords to actually connect the mail and make it fitter, like fit better and tighter. I love that this guy has got sort of brigandine style pauldrons, which I found in iconography. I can show you a few of these. I love that we've got correct proportions. We've got the tapering at the waist, both on this guy's brigandine and on this guy's plate. Yeah, look at this. Then, of course, this is the connection style here is a little bit was more common in the Italian, the connection between the backplate and the placard here. We see some kettle hats. The helmets appear to be fitted correctly. Here we have the liner and the aventail with the... I mean, this is incredible already. Bunch of pitchforks. It's a lot of like militia, I guess, but still very well equipped. The only thing I would say is that everyone looks exactly the same. Maybe that it's a bit like in a real medieval battlefield, there would have been a bit more variety when it comes to like this looks literally copy paste. But I understand. Like this is really a nitpick up to this point. This is great. And when it comes to the kettle hats of this shape, they were most commonly used in England, but you find kettle hats everywhere. I love the fact, though, that they have all sorts of different helmets. This is looking good. This is looking good. No, we're still going to go into the gadget part.
But war found me.
Yeah, look at the backplate. Wow. Trebuchet. Whoa.
I became like them. I took up the sword, prayed I could win redemption through my deeds. But some paths, once taken, have only one ending.
This is incredible.
I shall find no peace. On this road, there is only death.
I want to stop for a second. Do you see the little cross at the bottom of his helmet? I'm going to show you one thing really cool very quickly, since, you know me, it's not a complete analysis if I don't go full nerd on it. So, I've got the same thing right here. On this helmet, we've got the little crosses. Do you know what these were used for? I'm going to wait for chat to... I'm sure someone knows, but yeah. It's a very similar helmet to his. Little different, the front, but still. This is a late 14th century, the one that I'm holding, by the way. Late 14th century. Vision? No. Not really, no. We already got plenty of vision here. And at the end of the day, you can look through the breathing holes, although generally speaking, these are for breathing and ventilation, but you can look to see your feet. No, not really. These don't really have to do with vision. It's actually a lot simpler than that. Opening bottles, that's a very good idea. To fasten it, yeah, exactly, RC, you're correct. So, imagine that I have this. Remember that this is not necessarily a helmet that has a visor just yet. I don't know if his can be opened, but this one can't. So there will be situations where you will have to remove this, right? That is the advantage of armets that you can, and pig-faced helmets, that you can literally open the visor, breathe and talk and eat and drink, but look around and not have to remove the whole helmet. But with this kind of technology, which is a little earlier, if I want all of that, I have to remove physically the entire helmet. Given I would still have a Cervelier or a secret helm, I will still have mail, but I have to remove this. Now, in those scenarios with this type of helmet, the Great Helm, where I am removing it, what you can do is that a medieval knight on his breastplate would have a chain with a cross. What you do is that you insert the cross here, turn it, and now the helmet can be suspended, so I can use both my hands if I need to, and it's still on me. I'm not going to lose it. Then I'll just twist it, remove it, take the helmet back, and put it back on my head. Today we can put the helmet on, by the way, at one point, and I'll show you some of the differences. But when you see this cross, usually it has that function. And of course, there is always symbolism with the cross, clearly, in the medieval context. But that's the idea. As I was telling you, since we are at it, one moment. I'm back. This is a superior helmet, the Armet, because I don't have to take it off. I can just push a button. I'm going to push a button here. And now I can open the visor and breathe. But I don't have to remove the whole thing. So this is a superior war technology. Not to mention, this looks great. Right? So the Armet gives that ability. Not the only type of helmet that gives this ability, but definitely it's a lovely option in combat. And then it's not like you weren't expecting me to do all this, right? And then of course we have got full protection with the frog. This is a full frog mouth monster. And yeah. Look at this. What a beast. So it's kind of the one he's wearing is a bit of an in-between between this and the Great Helm. Looking good though. Personally, since he looks very rich, in a real context, I think he would have gone for something with a visor, to be honest. But I mean, there were people that wore frog mouths because they just wanted the protection, even when visor technology existed. Maybe he just likes that. Maybe he just likes it. So it's fine. Splendid. Look at this image with the sword. It's amazing. The sword, which is sword for those who hold it, but it's a cross for those who receive it. It's a kind of the medieval perspective. Send you to meet the maker. Let's go. Forge your destiny, you mocker.
But that's
this is
just
gameplay.
my story.
Wow.
write your own.
This goes hard. Man. Chronicles Medieval. All right, let's have a look at this image here. So what have we got? So we have a trebuchet in the back. That's cool. Let's have a look at the shields. The shields actually look really good. I love the shields. Look, this is surprising. They must have had some really good people giving them, you know, suggestions, because the shields, so they do look a little on the thicker side, but not too much. And besides, in gaming, that's always kind of necessary. But I see some pavises on the right, and they look great with the crossbowmen. This looks perfect. Also painted and all that. Here I see, no, this is actually, you see this one is on a thinner side. This is perfect. This is a perfect shield here. These heated shields. This is curved. The curved version existed too. And also I love that they are covered in parchment. So this is perfect. And you know I don't say that often. I mean, 12 years on the platform, all I do is bitching. This is good. This looks great. Maybe even gessoed. This would have been gessoed over and then painted. I see very good looking. Again, thickness looks perfect in the image. This knight is carrying this heater shield here. This knight as well, you can see the cover around. You can see how he's holding it and holding the reins, which, once again, absolutely. This guy has got a little bit of an earlier prototype of the Houndscowl helmet. So the only thing that I'm noticing, but then again, I can't complain because it's a video game, but the only thing I'm noticing is that there is a lot of technology of different centuries that seems to be worn commonly. Now, given 50, 60 years of gap, it's not like everyone could always afford the latest, highest tech. So it's okay. Would you find 100 years or 150 years? Usually that would be considered obsolete, but I'm not going to say never. I'm not going to say never. I'm just going to say probably not, but I'm not going to say never. So at the end of the day, it's fine. Like, as long as I don't see in the late 15th century or early 16th century, as long as I don't see, this looks 15th, as long as I don't see like a guy wearing, I don't know, Roman armor, as long as I don't see a guy just in mail, then I'm going to say it's all good. But this is impressive. This is really good. No, we still haven't watched the cube spot. No, we started with shorter things. Yeah, it looks good, Dalton. Absolutely. I mean, look at this. Let's see what you guys think. Let's see. Yeah, the title is very generic, but if they deliver a good video, absolutely. I'm totally wish listing it. I never pre-order, but I will wish list it. And if they give me early access, I will totally show you some gameplay. How can you see well out of that? Oh, you can't see well enough. Can you see well? Kind of, you would have to, not to become the Jordan Peterson of the discussion, you would have to define well. But in general, yeah, of course, some of your vision will be limited, but that's better and preferable over the business end of a mace on your face. Or an enemy arrow through your skull. So you can see enough to be a functioning soldier, and that's really how these are organized. Now, not all helmets are the same. Some helmets will give you better visibility. So at the end of the day, you'll have to choose. If you increase protection, you decrease other things like comfort, vision, ability to breathe. You might have some problems with overheating, but then if you increase these, then you will decrease the protection. I personally love helmets that give you a little bit of both. So I'm in the middle of a charge, impact the enemy, boom, but as I'm going back, kind of going back again after the impact, and now I'm not in combat, I could open the visor. And do consider the people did lift the visors in combat sometimes. So yeah, I prefer when medieval gear gives you options. Personally, Kermit helmet, absolutely. Yeah, that was a Kermit helmet 100%. Yeah, so jousting time. So yeah, the frog mouth is typical for joust, but it was also used in war. It was not exclusive to joust. There are some versions of the frog mouth that are so optimized for jousting that you wouldn't wear those specifically in war. But when we use frog mouth as an umbrella term, there are scenarios in war when it comes to iconography where we see them. So yeah. Yeah, very cool game. How much does it weigh? Which of the helmets? Because they all have different weights. The Frogmouth is pretty heavy, actually. It might be maybe 14 pounds, 15 pounds. I'm not sure. Which for a helmet is a lot, but then again, you can buckle it up and attach it. And I've got a whole liner inside. I can wear it. I can wear it. It's not the most comfortable thing in the world, though. I'll tell you that much. If you are a little claustrophobic, however, then the one helmet you're going to hate the most probably is going to be the armet, because the armet is very form-fitting. So I'm not claustrophobic, I don't think, or in any clinical way anyways. So that one does make me feel a little bit like this. And but yeah, kind of depends, I suppose. Oh, you got an ad. Sorry about that. It's Chronicles Medieval. It was on IGN, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to this game. Looks great. It really does look great. Yeah, it says it's about time Mountain Blade had some competition. I agree. If it will be the Mountain Blade in late medieval, I would buy for sure. Yeah, it does look late medieval, but I think you can mod Mountain Blade to literally be anything you want. More medieval games. So yeah, prepare the butter, my lords, whatever that means. That does look impressive, I agree. Although then again, most of this was cinematic. The gaming-wise, I think we saw a little bit here. I see a lot of soldiers. We'll have to see how the AI is in combat, though. I hope they don't start like having problems with pathfinding and running in circles and stuff like that. Hopefully we don't see that. If some of these troops, I'm assuming they're going to be AI, I don't think you're going to have that many players. Could you imagine if it's like 500 players versus 500? I mean, I don't know. I don't want to speculate. We'll have to see. Looking good, though. Let me see. Bright and colorful heraldry. Yeah, clothing, accurate armor. I agree. Already better than 90% of media depicting the medieval era. 100% whoever you are. He doesn't have a name. How does he not have a name? He doesn't have a name. Oh, whatever. I hope it's like Mountain Blade, but I can build my land. That could be cool too. We'll have to see. Yeah. The trailer is legendary, but I do hope that the game is good. I'll be honest. Did you guys? I never actually played Bannerlord. Do you guys like Bannerlord? Is it good? I'm glad the guy is this confident, says the game will be a banger. I hope so. Yeah. It's not on Steam. It's up. I found it. First result. It's on Steam. So I guess 3 days ago, 2 days ago. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Ending does look promising. We'll have to look at some gameplay once they release it. So, of course, never pre-order, guys. But this looks good. Yeah, this looks good. He didn't need any name because he was based. I agree. Sure. Absolutely. All right, cool. Right, are you ready for the actual topic of the stream? So we're gonna check this now. And this is a mystery. And as someone who has investigated Rome for a while now, I have to say, I don't have the answer to this. So I can tell you a little bit of some speculative ideas about these objects that have been found all across ancient Rome, but I do want to see if they present some ideas. I'm going to leave you with the chair for a second. I'm going to get myself a new drink, and then we dive it right into it. So I hope the chair is okay. I hope the chair is not rude to you guys, and I'll be right back. Be right back. Don't be Muppets. Be right back. Okay. All right, let's see this. Let's see if we can solve the mystery together, guys. You're an anti-chairist? Oh no. Oh no. So let me see what I missed. Let me just move. There we go. Thank you so much, Empu. It's good to have you here. They do look like dice. They do. It looks like a D12, doesn't it? Thank you very much, David Lopez, for the support. Stefan Milo did a nice segment on those artifacts. I recommend it. I'll check it out, absolutely. These keep turning themselves off. It's a little annoying. No, it's not a beer. It's just water. It's just water. I don't even think I'm allowed to actually drink on stream. I don't think you're allowed to do it. So, no problem, Kristen. We're about to start. I mean, we reviewed a few other things, but kind of waited to actually begin this. Oh, let me see. We got a few other super chats. Define C, says Daniel. Absolutely. And I have 3 history-related questions about housing if you have the time to answer. Feel free to write them. I will be diving into this, but you can still ask the questions. And then housing specifically, we'll have to see what it is about, Matty. This Masters Jordan has sounded in a bit. Not sure what that means. And then, yeah, okay, I got everyone. Thank you very much. And I want to say, let's see what we've got. Stop Killing Game campaign. I'll have to look into it. I still haven't. No, but I will. Yeah. Oh, I see. I can cracker. You prefer your apple juice is cold bourbon? Yeah, sure. Oh, drink apple juice. Yeah, it's funny. I don't think I need... See, my problem is that I do tend to get headaches, so that's why I almost never drink, occasionally, but I almost never drink because if I drink and it's one of those days when I get a headache, then I don't want to take ibuprofen over alcohol, and so I prefer, in the half chance, to not drink in case I do need to take something. Not that ibuprofen is good for you, but sometimes I'm one of those people that I can't function if I have a headache, so I just prefer to not risk it. But that's just me. All right. Sir, I'm here for it. Let's check this out.
This house that I'm recording this in, that I live in, was built in 1963. That's about middle age for a house in this part of the world. But if you get in a really old house, you'll find a lot of things that don't really make any sense. Like these little nooks that you often find in kitchens or hallways that are too small to be a bookcase or to set anything down on, not big enough to really decorate. You might not know what these are, but these are phone nooks. So back in the day when there was only one phone in the house and it was tethered to the wall, they made a dedicated space just...
Man, look at that. Wait. The man and I know exactly. Of course, we watch a video about medieval knights and I bring out the helmets. We'll watch a video about this. Look at that. Hello? Hello? Yeah, we're gonna keep this one here. No, that's a real phone. What do you mean a model? It's a real phone. This is the real deal. This is the real deal, ladies and gentlemen. Of course it is. It looks exact. It's the same. It is the exact same. Oh, that's so funny. Yes, it does work. Dalton. I love collecting old tech, guys. I don't know what to tell you. But man, it's the exact same. How did that happen? Look, wait. Look. It's the same. I don't know why that makes me so happy, but it does. So anyways, 1963. Gosh, I don't think I've ever been inside a house that was built in 1963. The ones that I... Because in Palermo, where I'm from, there was a massive building time in the 80s. So a lot of the houses are from the 80s. 1962. Well, of course, I've been into medieval houses, I guess. So that counts. But cool. Love it. Okay, cool. Next.
Just for making phone calls, with a pad and a pen to take notes, the yellow pages and the white pages, maybe a Rolodex or a planner, usually with important numbers taped up next to the phone on the wall. Yeah, people my age and older, we grew up with these things. They were in all the homes, everybody had one, and they made perfect sense.
Man, that's the old
at the
one.
time. Today, they just kind of look weird and out of place. Or if you go back further, if you have a really old house...
Sorry, I think it is sped up. Yes, it is. Normal, there you go.
You might have an ice door. In the days before refrigerators, people kept their food cold in ice boxes, which were literal boxes that held ice. And that ice had to be delivered to the house by a local ice company, which was a huge business at the time. And yeah, a lot of houses had a small ice door where the delivery guy could just drop the ice into the ice box without disturbing the home.
Man, can you imagine that? That kind of reminds me of the delivery of milk and juice. There is actually a game that I want to play on stream one of these nights that is about you being a milkman, but in the old school sense. And so you just deliver the milk bottles and the orange juice bottle. And I do remember that back in the day, by the way, we were receiving these in the porch, right? And even when I was living in England 25 years ago now, maybe longer than that, 25 years ago, I remember seeing the little milk bottles in the front porch, and then one of them would be orange because it's the orange juice. I remember that. There is a game that lets you do that, and I'll play it one of these nights. Wow.
You'd find milk doors and cold doors for the
go.
same reason. Today, of course, they just look like weird tiny doors that serve no purpose, but back in the day, they made perfect sense, and everybody knew what they were. Like, it kind of makes me think of the third condiment mystery. Have you heard about the third condiment mystery?
No.
So yeah, apparently back in the Victorian days and a little bit before that, the table settings had 3 shakers, like condiment shakers. Like today you always see salt and pepper.
Yeah.
They had salt and pepper and something else. And nobody knows exactly what it was used for.
Man, that's fascinating. So you think salt, sugar, and pepper? Maybe. I guess like back now we kind of keep sugar into a separate jar. Maybe. I mean, it could be. I mean, I don't know. Though, do you need sugar on the table just as much as you need salt and pepper? I don't know. Maybe it's oregano. I have no idea. I don't know, because Victorian age is kind of completely outside of I don't know much about the Victorian age. But yeah, salt, sugar, and arsenic. Oh, I hope not. My guess is Metatron has a copy of Paperboy. Of course I have a copy of Paperboy. I think I do, actually. I'll see. I might actually have it physical right there for NES. I'll look later. I might have it. For Americans, coffee. You think it could be coffee? Maybe. I don't know, because though it has the same holes as the rest, does it? That could be a hint, like an inkling.
Like, it hasn't been that long, but we haven't been able to find any writings that explain what it is. It's never referenced in any books
Because it was obvious.
manuals on homemaking or party planning. It seems that it was just so ubiquitous that nobody wrote about it.
Yeah.
They all just knew what it was. There was no point in writing about it. And ironically, because it was such a mundane, everyday thing that everybody understood back then, today, nobody knows what it is because nobody talked about it back then.
Believe it or not, I think I see what the bridge of connection that he's building, and that's an amazing typewriter like that. Is it an Olivetti? I don't know. No, probably not. Anyways, I think I know where he's going. He's going to say that that's how he's going to tie it into the fact that we find all the Dodecahedron and we don't know what they're used for. And maybe that's because everybody knew. I mean, that's one interpretation. I don't want to straw man the guy. I'll let him finish. But I do want to say that is a problem in classical antiquity or the medieval period, that sometimes they gave things for granted. They took things for granted, so they don't explain them. And now we could really use a freaking explanation. We could. You think it's sugar? Maybe it is sugar, yeah.
For the record, a lot of people think that it's some kind of mustard powder, but there are debates. The point
Paprika?
is, a funny thing happens with history in that the most mundane, ubiquitous parts of daily life are the things that we've kind of lost the most because nobody wrote about them in their time. Everybody just knew what it was. And that's possibly the case with the subject of today's video, because we are going to go way back. Today we're going to talk about the Roman dodecahedron.
Yeah. Nice intro.
Yes,
Nice
finally,
intro.
after all this time on YouTube, so many requests for this topic. I don't know how I've never covered it before, but
How did he say it? Dodecahedrons? I guess that's how you say it in English, because I would just read it. You could read it like, I would have said dodecahedrons or dodecahedrons if you want to go. But then again, it doesn't matter. I think he's right, because it's English anyways. White pepper, you think? Maybe. Yeah. I think that's all we're going to talk about. Cinnamon? Maybe cinnamon?
alas, the time has come.
Yeah. Oh, does he have an
Let's talk
original?
about this thing.
No way.
Yeah, okay, so this was made by my producer, Damien.
Okay.
He found a 3D printed thing, 3D printed it, glued all the little nubs on here, painted it so it looks all like rustic
job.
and everything. He did a great
Yeah.
job with this. This might be a new accoutrement for my background. No, he
Yeah.
really did a good job. So this is a special one. I keep this one. You can't have...
You have multiple sizes, by the way. That's just one of the possible sizes. You've got smaller ones, you've got bigger ones.
this one. But this is it. This is the Roman dodecahedron. It's got 12 sides.
Yeah.
It's got holes in each side. All the holes are different sizes,
Right.
as you can see. It's got these nubs in the corners. And This is what it is. This is what it looks like.
Man.
Yeah, there's like 130 or so of these that have been found, usually cast in copper or bronze. And yeah, nobody knows what they were used for. Actually, at this point, everybody has a different opinion of what these things are used for. But the reason why there's so much
D&D, some weapons, right? Like the halberd is at D12, I think. I don't remember, but yeah, maybe that's what it is. D&D.
disagreement about it is because there is nothing in any literature or art at the time that tells us what this thing is. So we're just left to speculate.
Yeah, let's
The most
speculate.
recent dodecahedron find was in June of 2023 in the Lincolnshire town of Norton Disney, which is apparently where Walt Disney's family comes from. But this one was especially big. It was like grapefruit sized. The smallest dodecahedrons are around 1.5 inches or so in diameter, but most are, around this size, like 3 or 4 inches in size.
Right.
But there's no uniform size to these things. They're all over the place. The first documented finding of one of these was in 1739 in Aston, Hertfordshire, England. And since then, 133 have been found.
Look.
With the exception of a few outliers, all of them are from areas in Northern Europe, like France.
Yeah, I'm actually... So if we were to really try to define a pattern here, a lot of this is Celtic. All of this would be Celtic, right? And then we start going into the Germanic a little bit, but since it's not that much, it's possible that it's a Celtic thing. If none were found in Italy, I actually thought, at least, because of course I'm aware of these, but I didn't look into it that deeply. If none is found in the Mediterranean world, it's possible that it's a Celtic thing. You think a torture device to do what? Break fingers? Maybe a toy? It could be a toy. Absolutely could be a toy. It could be a toy. If someone was saying like maybe to write circles. I mean, I guess, but then again, the weird thing is that I've read people, there are all sorts of theories on this. I've heard people saying that maybe it's for measurements. I'm sure he's going to present it. But if they're not standardized, then how are you going to use them to measure what? At that point, if it was... So I don't really buy the measurement part explanation because it would have been standardized. The Romans absolutely standardized things. Although then again, it's in the Roman period, but it's in the Celtic substratum. So maybe it's not a Roman thing. It is possible that it's not a Roman thing. Christian says, hey, Metatron, love your channel. Thank you for everything you do. Absolutely. Any advice for me? I'm trying to put together a high medieval outfit. Clothing only, no armor. I see. Vendors for clothing. Ooh, for clothing, I don't know. I haven't looked into that. Yeah, there are a few. Right now, I can't think of them. There is a video. Look for a video. Just write medieval reenactment guide Metatron. I think I have a video where I give you some links. I do believe I have it. And Batman, hi. Batman, thank you for the support. Different size holes on each side suggests to me that it's a type of tool for measurement. Yeah, as I say, maybe. But then if they also are bigger and smaller, I don't know if it is at that point. But I mean, it's possible. Hello.
Hello, I won't be too long.
No, it's fine. I got a cheese, guys.
I know, I'm bringing the cheese quite early today, but also can I show them the very nice?
Yeah, what's the very nice?
These.
Oh, yeah, I mean, sure. Guys.
It's up to you.
No, it's fine. Let's show it. So guys, big thing to show you, big announcement, I guess. We got something. I need to see your reaction. I'm going to put both of you here. But we got something, guys. We got something special. It's not cheese. I know I got cheese.
Hey, you think it would be really cute if you move?
Yeah.
And then I'll kind of bring him up from the top. And
Oh,
just,
yeah, sure. So should I move?
Yeah.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. We got something, guys. We got something. Oh, maybe I should have done full screen. Just let me do full screen. 1 second. Let me do full screen.
Okay.
We are improvising here, guys. We are improvising. Go for it.
Oh.
There I am. Hello, noble ones. Hello, noble ones. Yeah, I said it like a month ago. I said we were making one. I'm here. I can dub myself. Look at that. Hello, noble ones. Subscribe to the channel if you don't mind. You can click. Come on. I know you're not clicking. I can literally see you. Just click subscribe for crying out loud. Yeah, there we go. New plushie for the Metatron in preparation for the 1 million subscribers. Hoping we reach it. But yeah, that's me.
Okay, sorry.
I'm on camera.
I was actually going to say you muppet.
Yeah, you muppet.
Okay, here you go. Sorry.
I'm back. I'm back. So we got it, guys. We got a plushie.
A plushie.
A plushie. That's great.
That's the
So
best.
yeah, so
Plushie.
that's me, guys. I guess you can stay with us for the rest of the
Oh
stream.
my god, this is the cutest thing I've
It looks
ever
exactly
seen.
like me. It looks exactly like me. So it's still not launched, but we'll launch it very soon. Did they ever say like the?
Well, no, not yet, because
Not yet.
I just emailed him today.
That's okay. So yeah, it's ready. We got it, and the Meta Muppet, and
Meta plushie.
the Meta Plide. Look at the hair. I'm sorry. I know you just look at the hair, guys. The hair is historically accurate. The length is historically accurate, and this is special because it's the pedantic edition. Wait, I need to get, there we go. It's the pedantic edition. Pedantic edition. He's wearing the brigandine, as you can see. Yeah. So pedantic limited edition, I guess. Yeah, so we got this, and it's gonna stay there, I guess. Yeah, sorry if I moved it. I know you. I know I'm gonna hit him with the elbow, anyways. Oh, you can. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, that's.
Anyways, I will let you go back to what you were talking about. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure
no
y'all were,
problem, no
Right in
problem.
the middle of something. Anyways.
The Meta Muppet we got. So
Do
it
you
will
want this,
soon.
or do you want it later?
Yeah, just maybe put it in the fridge because I had so much pasta for lunch. I'm actually not hungry. She made really good pasta. Bye.
Bye, chat. Bye, chat. Have a good night. Bye, love.
Bye. Thank you. It's epic, the plushie. So the plushie will be soon available. And it's going to be great, guys. It's going to be great. Helmet plushie next. I already have one. I already have a plushie with a helmet. I think it's over there. I think it's in there. Yeah, maybe we'll show them later. But I already made one with helmets. So with the frog mouth. So yeah, we're gonna have the mini Metatron for the hopefully 1 minute. Oh no, it's in there. If you wanted to get it. You sure? Yeah. I mean, why not? It's in one of the bags. Thank you for the patience, guys. We really appreciate that. So make a papercraft helmet. Yeah, sure. I mean, you can. Yeah, they want helmet accessories, maybe at one point. But yeah, the pedantic edition is gonna be great. For the glory of Rome. That was the previous launch. The previous one we did was this one, if you remember. Just going to show you. So this one here. So I guess whoever got this at one point, they can have double. They can in armor and without the armor, I suppose. It's what we get. Oh, there you go. They're friends. Great. There you go. We got the friends. Anyways, yeah. So that was great. And yeah, that's what we've got. The Armored Muppet and the regular 1 million pedantic subscription Muppet. So that's great. Anyways, we do need a Pompey plushie, maybe next one. All right, fantastic. So just so you know, that's going to happen soon. It will happen. So let me see if I can push him a little bit because he seems a little drunk. There you go. Perfect. And that was that. Good grief. Anyways, yeah, that's where we are. So we were talking about the other one. We were talking about the Roman toy. So yeah, let's see what options we've got. Let's have a look. Move them, and let's go.
Against Germany and Britain. This is an area that the Romans called Gaul,
Yeah.
and they date to the years when the Romans were there between the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th centuries.
To be specific and pedantic, since I'm just about to release the pedantic edition Metatron, the Romans called it Gallia. Long vowel at the end for phonemic vowel length maniacs like me.
So yeah, many make the argument that it shouldn't be called the Roman dodecahedron at all. It should be called the Gallic dodecahedrons
Fair.
because it
Fair.
seemed to be exclusively a Gallic object. The Roman dodecahedron never got anywhere close to Rome. But to put the time period of when these things existed into context, this was a pretty high time for Rome.
Right.
The empire reached its greatest extent in 117 under Trajan and went through its famous conversion to a Christian state under Constantine in the 300s. So even if it was a regional phenomenon, that region was firmly under Roman control.
Yeah.
But the fact that they've only been found in the northern parts of Europe is kind of a mystery, but it's also a clue. Maybe it was part of a cultural tradition that only existed in those areas. Maybe it has a purpose that only makes sense in colder climates. But that's just one clue. There are many clues to talk about.
Do you think it could be religiously connected, like to the Druids and whatnot? Because that is one element in common between Gaul in continental Europe and Britain. So maybe You think a device for plating rope or other fibers? Yeah, difficult to say, really. Astral origins, maybe. But what did they need it for? Let's continue the investigation.
The fact that there aren't any writings or art with it in there is a clue. Like, lack of information is a clue. Like, why didn't they talk about these things? They're not mentioned by any of the ancient historians or playwrights. They're not shown in any art. And the Romans were not shy about what they put in art. And before you say, yeah, but most of the famous art came from near Rome, there are plenty of examples of ancient art objects from Gaul, and that art is dodecahedron free. So let's consider some other clues. So one interesting clue is that they're often found in graves or tombs of wealthy women, often alongside coins. But they've also been found near military camps along ancient riverbeds. They don't usually have any markings, which would...
Military camps. That kind of makes me feel like it's, again, some kind of expensive toy. It's something that both a woman would be able to own. If it's made like of bronze, would have a little bit of a... not crazy expensive, but still... So, and then if it's near a military camp, maybe belonged to an auxiliary soldier, which could have been of Celtic origins, some kind of, or maybe a Roman bought it from the Gauls and thought it was neat and thought, hey, I'll bring this one back to my son if it was one of those situations. Or who knows? Maybe used for gambling. Maybe could be used for games. It could be. Maybe it is D&D. Like, they roll it and then the different circles. But then again, why not putting numbers? Well, maybe I'm modernizing it too much. You could say it could be holding something and burning it. So that I see. So the holes are like for the smoke. Could be. I'm not going to say ceremonial, though. That word is banned on this channel. So it could be ritualistic. Let's put it that way. This is fascinating. For some kind of candle, you say, maybe it could have been filled with something that is organic. So you could fill it with some kind of wax. Maybe.
Would be a great clue if they did. Some of them do have like circles around the holes, which might just be a gauge that they would use to clip out the different size holes. We don't really know. But yeah, I mean, them not having markings can rule out some theories. Most of them show little, if any, wear. So that's a pretty big clue. And yeah, again, they're usually made out of fairly expensive metals like brass or copper. At least the ones that survived were. So those are the major clues. And with those clues in mind, let's take a look at some of the theories. Now, there are literally dozens of theories around this. I can't go in depth on all of them. I'm sure I'm going to miss a ton of them. But let's take a look at some of the most interesting ones and the ones that I think are the most likely.
Okay.
So one popular theory is that it's a kind of rangefinder for the Roman military to help them kind of aim for distant objects.
And then why the heck would it be in the funerary goods or the funerary kit of a woman of Celtic origin? That already I would be like, if it was only found in military encampments or in connection to the military, maybe. But then again, it would be standardized in size for range. So I don't buy this one. I don't buy this one.
Which makes sense because they were found in military camps. Like, imagine you're a Roman general facing off against a horde of milk-skinned Gallic barbarians, and you tell your archers to knock their arrows, get ready to fire, and then you lift up your 12-sided rangefinder, line things up just right, and you can see just how far away the target is on the enemy's side. Sounds interesting, but, like, how? Apparently it can be done. There's a paper by Amelia Carolina Sparavinga from the Torino Polytechnic School, and she figured out that by lining up the various holes, you can gauge the distance by applying this simple formula. It's super easy. So there you go, mystery solved. The holes are for finding a range, and the knobs are for holding. Except, is this the best solution in the heat of battle? You got an enemy bearing down on you, so you whip out your abacus and do a little algebra? Like, weren't there simpler ways of doing that? I mean, the knob thing, yeah, I guess it makes it easier to hold, but feels kind of unnecessary.
I do think that the knobs are there for holding. I agree with that. I'm still not really convinced with the rangefinder, particularly because, once again, sometimes it's not found in a military context, and also because they are not standardized. So that already kind of gives me a little bit of a, I don't know. You can hold it fine without knobs. That too, yeah. That too. Let's go.
Also, the lack of labeling bothers me. Like, if you're going to do something precise with it, you're going to need to have, like, precise labeling of some kind.
Sure.
Also, the size of these would need to be more uniform across the
Exactly.
board, which they are not. Also, it might explain why they were found in military encampments, but what about the, high-status women? Like, why would they be buried with a rangefinder? So, I don't personally think it's a rangefinder. In fact, I would kind of rule against any of the theories that describe it as some kind of measuring device, simply because they were also differently sized. But there are many different measuring device theories around this, including the theory that it's a planting calendar. So let's say you want to know the best time in your region to plant winter grain, right? You need to know what day it is. So some have speculated that the dodecahedron is a kind of sundial calendar that you can tell what day it is. There's a whole website called romandodecahedron.com that explains how you can work out the dates by using the dodecahedron, including from specific locations where they were found. They say to start by placing it on a horizontal plate at high noon, and then measure the sunbeam's angle relative to the plate using this formula, where 26.6 degrees is the angle through aligned dodecahedron holes, TG1 is the inverse tangent, A and B are the radii of the opposing holes, and D is the dodecahedron's diameter. Got all that? So you can get 6 different measurements because there's 6 different pairs of holes, and then you can check the results using astronomy or a chart. Then you know the date. So it does take a little bit of work. It's another one of those whip out your abacus and do a little algebra thing, but it is a pretty precise way to get a date with just a simple tool in the sun.
Or you could ask someone who knows the date. Excuse me, what day is it? I don't know, it feels like, I think it's overcomplicating it. I agree, Dreamheart. Up to this point, I'm in agreement with you, though. He's doing some really good analyses, so I appreciate that. You think it could be something in connection to coinage? Maybe. I mean, it could be something to make sure that, let's see if this coin is real. But then again, they did do that with silver already with the biting. So to check, I guess, the correct size. I don't know, though. Why would they always be different then? That still kind of doesn't work. That's why the measurement part, it feels like it would be much more standardized if it were the case. Thank you for subscribing, Talmer, for subscribing on Twitch for 3 months. I really appreciate that. Maybe a candle holder, maybe, so you could put all sorts of candles, I guess. Who knows? Roll for initiative, guys. When you're in combat, there you go, military. Roll for initiative. It suffers, so the goals wait. Maybe.
But why? You know what's also a pretty simple tool to keep track of the dates? A calendar.
Yeah.
Which they totally had.
Yeah,
the Julian calendar is what they used back then. It was named after Julius Caesar. It had been around for a few centuries by this point, and it's pretty damn close to what we use today. Now, the site argues against that, saying that planting dates vary for different regions, and that's true. But you only have to guess the right planting time once, right? And then after that, you can just write it down and use the calendar.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the ancient world didn't work that way. Maybe Gallic officials didn't like the Julian calendar, or the Gallic farmers didn't trust it. Maybe it made sense for the specific patterns of weather that existed in Gaul and nowhere else. But again, if it's a measuring device, some markings would be helpful. And why weren't they found on farms instead of military camps and heiress tombs?
Not to mention the expensive aspect of it. Makes it a little... You think an artist brush holder? Huh? Who knows, man? We're going to have a lot of theories here today. Yeah. Maybe fortune telling. Maybe, it could have some... Oh, maybe it was just pretty. But then again, just pretty, no. I think it must have some kind of function. Problem is figuring out that function.
You know a lot of rich women who are buried with planting calendars? This next one is actually pretty interesting. Might be my favorite, actually. There's a video by an Etsy shop owner named Amy Gaines, who makes adorable knit stuffed animals, by the way. But she came across a dodecahedron mystery and apparently looked at it once and seemed to know exactly what she was looking at. According to her knitting-enhanced eyeballs, this thing is the perfect device for making a specific type of gold chain. Just so happens it's a technique known as, wait for it, Viking knitting. And this was in Northern Europe.
Well, yeah, but Viking knitting... Oh, unless you mean that the Vikings posthumously acquired it from earlier Celtic traditions. Maybe that's where we're going. Some one of you were saying knitting. So let's have a look.
Go on. In her video, she uses a tapered dowel to fit through the holes of the dodecahedron, and then uses aluminum wire, which probably would have been gold in real life, and wraps it around and through the knobs on the device. And by repeating this looping down the dowel, you can create a loose metal chain. Then you can use the progressively smaller holes to pull the wire through and stretch it and make a tighter weave. She compares this to a modern-day draw plate. And as she shows in her video, it does work. And it works with yarn too. You can use it to make weave cords and maybe fingers for...
That makes more sense to me, actually. That makes more sense. Sex toy, probably not. But that makes more sense, actually. Maybe, because, I mean, if it does work in the Celtic context, maybe the Romans were like, we don't need that, we've got our own techniques. But maybe the Celtic people were like, no, this is what we've been doing, our ancestors, it works, that's how we do our stuff. So they kind of preserved their own tradition. That's why they're found. And it makes sense that it could be in the context of a rich woman, because either she used it because she loved doing this, or she had her servants use it to make the pretty chains. I mean, up to this point, this is actually not a bad explanation. Up to this point. Probably my favorite.
Gloves. This is an interesting theory. It fits the need for all the different sized holes. It explains the nubs. It makes sense regionally with the Viking weave thing. It explains why it was normally made out of bronze and copper, both harder metals than gold. It explains why they were buried with women, and maybe military guys use them to make chainmail? This checks so many boxes.
No. The last one, I don't think so, because mail was produced. We know how mail was produced. Both originally by the guy, but I wouldn't really see it because that would have been mentioned. If the Romans thought that device was useful to make mail, considering that mail, the Romans copied mail, what they call lorica hamata, well, we call lorica hamata, the Romans called it gallica, lorica gallica, because they copied it from the Gauls. They would have mentioned it, and we would have found it all over the place in the military production sites in Rome, and with a lot more legions. Instead, there is just appears to be an occasional. So I don't think with the mail, because we know how they produced armor. But for everything else, I am gonna say possibly. Yeah, you can use it in even in a military camp. Apart from the fact that, once again, it could have belonged to a Celtic auxiliary man, so part of his culture. Maybe something is like, hey, I can make a pretty chain, why not, and wear it. But even if it was a Roman citizen, he could have bought it because he thought it was pretty. I mean, that's fine. But the fact that it's mostly found in the Celtic world only gives me more the idea that this is not for a military function, and then the Romans would have at least talked about it. This was used for a non-military jewelry function. Makes more sense to me.
The only thing that is keeping me from giving it 100% here is that it didn't show any signs of wear and tear, which I feel like it would have a lot of wear and tear if metal was being scraped against it all the time. Unless it was used with...
But then again, you said it's used with gold. Gold is a softer metal. Maybe not.
Wear and tear if metal was being scraped against it all the time. Unless it was used with yarn, maybe. Although apparently, and this is another clue actually, a lot of the dodecahedrons were found with wax residue on them. And she suggests that...
Man, I did not know. You remember I said wax? I thought this was going to contain wax. I don't know why.
That might have been like a kind of lubrication. But yeah, that's a pretty solid theory.
Yeah.
I like that theory. Another theory is that it's a device to encode messages. Coder, decoder, if you will.
Be sure to drink your Ovaltine. Ovaltine?
And you know what? I can see it. I mean, just looking at this, it looks like it's a kind of a cipher of some kind, like the different holes being different settings or something. Well, that's the exact idea that a guy named Matt Given had, and he came up with something that, like, I have no idea if this is right or not, but it's kind of brilliant.
Let's see.
In a video he uploaded to YouTube, he shows how these different holes could be keys to a different circular cipher that lock into place with the corner knobs. You line up the inner cipher with the outer cipher to find the code letter, and then you rotate the inner cipher one click after every word. Once you've got your message, you can seal it with wax inside this message holder, and then imprint the side of the dodecahedron that matches the right key. Then the guy who gets the message knows which circle to use by matching up his dodecahedron to the wax seal. Then he pops in the correct cipher, and now he's decoding the message.
See, that's fascinating, but that would be something I would expect from the Romans rather than from the Gauls. So, because we do have situations where they, for example, Julius Caesar used messages, encrypted messages and that kind of stuff. He did use it. So the Romans made use of these. It would be, unless they don't talk about it because it's secret, but then why are they found in the Celtic? Not convinced. Cool idea, though.
Explains why nobody ever talked about it, because it was secret military technology. This explains the wax residue. Maybe even why it was made from valuable metals? Because military? This checks a lot of boxes. But not all of them. Doesn't explain why they were buried with rich women. Yeah. And it doesn't account for the fact that they're all different sizes. Like, if this was something that was actually widely implemented across the Gallic Roman military, that size would need to be standardized.
Exactly.
Although technically for it to work, it only has to match up with 2 dodecahedrons. Only 2 of them have to be the same size. So I don't know, that might bring the objection down a little bit.
Yeah.
As for why it was only used in the north and not all throughout Rome, I mean, I guess it's possible it's just something that was instituted by a Gallic Roman general and it spread around those areas and just never quite caught on outside of...
No, I think it's cultural. At this point, when something is found predominantly in an area which has a cultural umbrella superimposition onto it, which in this case is the umbrella term Celtic, it's got to be cultural. I do not see... If it's a single Roman general is not going to do all of this. And once again, we would find it somewhere else, wherever that general would be deployed. No, I do think... Not that we know, we're all speculating here, but I just don't see it. I think it's a Celtic thing.
There, because it was too complicated or unnecessary. But maybe the biggest strike against this one is that it requires other pieces for the code to work. Like the ciphers and the message holders and all that stuff.
Exactly.
And none of that's ever been found. Now, he makes the point that these other pieces probably would have been made from wood or parchment so they can be easily destroyed, like to keep them out of enemy hands and whatnot. That makes sense. And the ones that weren't destroyed, those materials would have decomposed a long time ago. So some might say that the lack of evidence is actually even more proof that it was a secret decoder thing. But having evidence would be better. So I think that one's interesting. I don't think it's the answer. I think it's a bit of reverse engineering on his part. But I will say I think it's a brilliant bit of reverse engineering. And if I ever do some kind of medieval fantasy novel that involves a military campaign, I am totally stealing that.
That's pretty cool, actually. I agree, yeah.
Very clever work, sir. Very good. I applaud you. Anyway, debate this one down below. So those are some of my favorite ones, the ones I find most interesting anyway. There's a whole lot more. I can go through a few of them kind of rapid fire here. Like someone said that maybe it's a gauge for measuring things like sticks and tinder. Maybe it's the different size holes you can use to shape spears or tools with it.
Yeah, actually, now that he mentioned spears, the one that I heard is weapon calibration. But I don't actually know how that would be done. I just read it. And then my researcher just reminded me today when I told him that I was going to look into this. And he reminded me, no one really knows. He said maybe weapon calibration, but I don't know how that would be done. So kind of gauge, yeah.
Maybe you could measure, like I said, tinder or like spaghetti. Some
Don't
people
break
talk about
them.
you could use it to measure different...
Don't break them. And I've never used that in my life, by the way. I just measure it by hand. What are you talking about? I mean, it's like my birthright is the ability to measure spaghetti.
Amounts of spaghetti. And I think any one of those things might work, but all of them? Did they need a device to measure tinder? Did they even eat pasta in that part of the world? Was spaghetti even a thing back then? Also,
Spaghetti in the modern sense, no, but there was a precursor to modern day pasta, just obviously without the tomato sauce, because that came to be after the discovery of the New World. Apparently some people find it offensive that you say discovery because it's Eurocentric. That's nonsense. Whenever we say that America was discovered, of course we mean from the perspective of the Europeans. Clearly there were people already living there. It's so tiring that you have to specify the obvious, but here we are. Proto-spaghetti, guys.
You know a lot of women that were buried with their pasta measurers? Another theory is that it might just be a candle holder, which,
yeah.
I mean, I guess. I don't have a candle, but I've got a pen.
Oh.
I mean, it would definitely work, and it's, you know, it's a pretty stable platform, and really any cylindrical object could be placed in it, and maybe the different...
And there was some wax.
size holes would be able to match different types of candle sizes or whatever. So, I mean, you know, it kind of works. But wouldn't we see a whole lot of them? And didn't they already have a much simpler solution for that? And do you know?
He's making very good points. Someone in chat is saying, question, wait, I need to show this. Is Olive Garden real Italian food? I don't know, common sense, because I've never been to an Olive Garden here. I've only been living in the US for, what, 4 years, 5 years? I don't know. 3 years? I don't even know. Anyways, I've never been to an Olive Garden. I don't plan to go to an Olive Garden, but I'll tell you this much. If we hit $50 in super chats today, I'll go to Olive Garden and I'll film it. How about that? How about that?
Know any women who have been buried with candle holders? Because they were sometimes found with coins, some people think that they might have been coin validators.
Ah.
Like back then, it was a lot easier to counterfeit coins. And it was actually fairly common for people to clip little bits of coin and melt it down and sell it. So the idea is that this was a device for merchants and tax collectors or whoever to essentially like authenticate the coins by making sure they fit the appropriate holes. Like that's a pretty good one, but it does have a fatal flaw, as my friend Stefan Milo pointed out in his recent video. He actually did a few videos on the Dodecahedron recently. They're awesome.
Yeah.
You should definitely go check them out if you like this topic. And actually, if you're not following Stefan Milo at all, like, what are you even doing? What are you doing? So he makes the point that when people clipped off the silver out of the coins, it was usually more like a chip instead of like grinding out the edge or whatever. It was really more of a chip that wouldn't really affect the shape. So
holy moly! Well, then again, thank you, David Lopez. If you go to an Olive Garden, do a review live, okay. And boom, Daniel Edwards just made it happen, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. I guess my wife is going to take me to Olive Garden one of these days. I don't know if I can do it live, David, because, you know, connection and whatnot, but probably not. But I will. Plus, I don't want to be a nuisance to the people working there while I'm going live, but I will film it. It's going to happen now, guys. So, yeah. A real Italian versus Olive Garden video coming up soon, I guess. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate your generosity, man. Really appreciate. Oh my gosh, I need to be careful what I say because you guys make things happen. So I'll have to be careful what I say next time. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Very generous of you.
That, you know, hole wouldn't really help. Plus, it would have to be standardized size holes across all the dodecahedrons, which they aren't. So
yeah.
Another one I've seen a lot is that people think that maybe it was just like a demonstration of a metalworker's skill. It was a metalworker flex, basically. Mostly just because it's such a complicated piece to make and it would have required a lot of skill.
Yeah.
It might have been like a calling card for tradespeople to prove their worth. This one, that feels like a stretch to me. I mean, I get it, but I feel like if that was the case, then it would actually be the metal workers carrying them around. Like just to show out their ability to try to get work or whatever. It'd be more like a calling card, like I said. And therefore we would be finding it with, buried with metal workers or around old trade centers with a metal worker.
Yeah, not the noble woman. So yeah, we keep going back to that one, but I mean, it does make sense. Thank you. No God, OG lasagna will be microwaved and cold in the middle. Oh no. Forza Jersey, Olive Garden is an insult to Italian cuisine. Oh, goodness gracious, what did you guys set me up for? What did you guys... I'm going to explode, am I? I'm going to explode. I'm going to have to call my wife. I'm going to have to call my wife and let her know that this is happening. My gosh. All right, I'm going to skip this section because we don't watch the whole thing. I want to see if he has, like, a conclusion.
When we talk about history and ancient cultures, we tend to focus on the big stuff. The kings, the dynasties, the decisive battles, but... that's not really how most people experience the vast majority of human history.
Yeah.
Most humans just lived their lives, raised their families, and tended to their land or business just like people today. Yet
Play D&D.
so much of that vast majority of human experience has been lost to time. So I find things like this very interesting, the details of how people lived. And it turns out there's a great series about that called Archaeology Quest. And Archaeology Quest...
that's his sponsor. Hey, I gotta say, I love the video. This was really cool. I'm gonna give him a like and... yeah, very nice video. Maybe next time, I don't want to watch it right now, but we can watch this one that he suggested about, made by Stefan Milo. So we'll definitely do that. I'm going to add it as one of the videos we're going to react to either like tomorrow or the day after, we'll see. And so we're definitely doing that. But I have to say, solid video, pretty good presentation, very fun, nice, balance between the talking head and the maps and the images and a little bit of the B-rolls. So yeah, that was pretty good. What did you guys think? Thank you, David. Sarl Roebuck and Co. Catalog 1922, item number 35H1703, 5-piece glass caster set, depicts salt, pepper, mustard. Ooh, and vinegar shakers. I think David just solved it for us. It was mustard. He did mention mustard earlier on. He said maybe. So maybe it is mustard. Thank you, David, for letting us know. Appreciate that. So not the cube, but the earlier triple thing that he was talking about that they had in the Victorian period. This seems like it probably was mustard. Yeah, I guess it would make sense that now that you can just we just buy the mustard. You know, we don't need the seeds to make our own mustard, I guess. And that became, yeah, like a boss. Absolutely. David just found it. I suppose that makes sense that then that stopped and we don't really need it. And people just started buying the actual mustard sauce. And that was that. Wow. No problem, True Sighted. Thank you for being here. Cool, cool. Maybe it's a Celtic hair braiding tool. It could be, yeah. I mean, that would explain why he was found together with the noble woman. So that's definitely a possibility. Definitely a possibility. Yeah, that was fun. Man, I'm gonna have to call my wife and let her know we're going to Olive Garden. I'm gonna do that now. I'm gonna do that now. I'm calling it right now. There you go. Hey there, you are live. The chat is listening to you.
Okay.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well. Just letting you know that courtesy of Daniel Edwards, we're going to Olive Garden. One of these
Really?
days. Yeah,
Oh my
we're gonna have to film
goodness.
it. It's gonna be great, and I'm gonna explode. I'm gonna explode.
I don't know how what you're gonna think.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, thank you so much, Daniel.
thank you, Daniel. Appreciate it. And everyone else also who contributed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Everyone is so nice.
Yeah, so we're going to Olive Garden.
Olive.
All right. Thank you. Just wanted to let you know.
Oh, good. Thanks.
All right. Have a good one. Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Ciao, 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 ciao. All right. We're going to Olive Garden. So that's fantastic. And the reason why I say Olive, by the way, is because I heard once I watched this movie, and I think it was set like in New York or something like that. And I remember this actor, and he kept saying it like that. He kept saying olives. And I just, since then, my wife and I, every time we say olive, because I would say olive, but every time we say olive, now we say olive. It's just a thing between my wife and I. So it's just olive now, no matter what. It will always be olive. Thank you, Forza Jersey. Go to Staten Island, New York, for good US Italian food. Yeah, no, I've been to New York a few times, and yeah, I've had some good Italian in New York. Like, seriously. I even have a favorite pizzeria place. So, yeah, it's one of those things. Instant crime, Metatron at Olive Garden. We'll have to see. Make sure you order it in Italian. Ooh, I don't think it's gonna work, David. I honestly don't think it's gonna work. What can I say? Pretty good video though. I enjoyed it. That was pretty good. So this is the next video we're gonna watch. So one thing, I don't know if it's because, I mean, I did drink 2 drinks while we were watching, so maybe that's why. But I gotta use the restroom again. I noticed it was like this yesterday too. I wonder if I have some kind of irritation or something like that. So sorry about that, but I'm gonna leave the stream again for a second with the chair, and I'll be right back. I need to stop drinking, probably. I'll just stop drinking, and I'll be right back. Thank you for your patience, guys. Metatron, I'm sure your reaction to Olive Garden will be priceless. Ooh, it will be great. It will be great. Sorry about that, by the way. I don't know why. Yesterday night also I had to wake up a few times to use the restroom. I don't know if it's some kind of... Who knows? Hopefully it's nothing serious. And yeah, welcome. Welcome back. Legendary chair. Yeah, totally. Totally. And remember the Metatron as a... No, I'm actually peeing. That's all it is. I think that's why I'm saying I think I'm drinking too much. I hope there's nothing serious about it. Because yesterday night was kind of the same. Let me see your questions. Is what is called Sicilian pizza here what you guys actually have in Sicily? It's a type of pan pizza that is thicker than normal pizza. We do have that, but it's just that in Sicily you also have the regular pizza. The one you're describing sounds more like we call the bakery pizza. So when you go to a bakery, then pizza kind of looks like that. Yeah. Yeah. So that's probably what it is. I'll have to try it though to see if it tastes comparable. Order in Italian accent. I could try. Oh, that could be funny. That could be funny. Excuse me, I want a pizza. You have a pasta for me? That would be great. That would be great. Anyways, all right. Now, I honestly don't think it's serious. It's just the last couple of days. So if it continues, I'll get checked. But if it goes away, then it's not a problem. All right, so what have we got? Let's have a look at this video. We have got, boom, completely wrong history facts that you may still believe. I'm intrigued. It's from the channel Chat History. How about we have a look? How about we have a look? Let's go.
That are wrong. History facts that are wrong.
The ancient Egyptian pyramids were built by slaves. All right, so we're starting kind of strong, but we'll have to see how he elaborates this because it might actually go into also a... I don't want to build a straw man. Let's see.
This is probably one of the first things we all learned about in school when discussing ancient Egypt. Tens of thousands of slaves enduring endless hours of intense, forced physical labor while barely being fed or provided with adequate water. Drop a sack of sand, chisel something at the wrong angle, devout masochist, you're getting a whipping. Well, it's all poppycock. While there were slaves, they were mainly prisoners of war or household servants who tended to their landlords, but they weren't really part of the main labor force. Instead, laborers in ancient Egypt were conscripted using the corvée duty system, a way to pay off taxes through manual labor. According to the book The Pyramid Builders of Ancient Egypt, which discusses the pyramid builders of ancient Egypt, farmers were usually pulled from their laborious crop dusting for construction work whenever the Nile went all floody during the summer months. While the snobby rich upper class folk avoided manual labor by just paying off their tax burden, them smelly poors were tasked with construction of temples, tombs, and pyramids. Laborers who worked on the pyramids, as well as other large structures way back in the ancient times, were actually well provided for. This makes sense as having a weakened labor force due to neglect or malnourishment, it doesn't really pay great dividends. Can't exactly move giant rocks when you're completely emaciated.
Okay, so we are kind of halfway through the first point, and then he's going to move. I want to say, it is good, I think, to kind of redefine this concept of the pyramids being built by slave force, because that's what we thought. We used to think that it was only entirely tens of thousands, if 10,000 and even more, just slaves. And that's wrong. On the other hand, I want to raise a question here, and then maybe we can discuss it. First, I think it's wrong to also say that slaves weren't involved, like the way he said it now, because 100%, I mean, I can't say 100%, but it is very likely, based on the research I've done, because this is a highly debated topic still in academia, by the way. There isn't one single definition of this is how it was. It's very debated. And one of the things that I can say is that a culture that does have slaves, and we know they did, as he just correctly stated, I think that absolutely for unskilled labor, they would have used slaves. Does that mean that they were all slaves? No, I agree with him. I think a big chunk would have been corvée labor. As he says, it's an alternative to pay taxes. That's correct. I'm going to come back to what a corvée labor is, because for our definition, I think it might get a little tight. You'll see how it works. But then again, so And then you also had skilled specialists. So the reality is, the way I look at it, is that the pyramids were built by 3 different types of workers. You had specialists, they were the smallest number, and they were very well paid, and they would do things like the casting, or like inscriptions, or hieroglyphs, so measurements, the engineers, all of those people, they were not slaves, they were very well paid, and that's that. The second type would be corvée labor, as he said. So these are general people, that the general population, and then instead of paying taxes, or in general, they are required to do this amount of work from their family. If they have a healthy male or more, then they're gonna send that for a certain amount of time. They're gonna do that job, and then they don't have to pay taxes or whatever it is. And so they are provided for, they are paid. But then again, not as much as the specialists. But then you did have slaves. Absolutely, you had slaves who worked in the war. Why wouldn't you use slaves and prisoners of war and all that kind of stuff? Particularly and I think that slaves would be used for moving stuff from place A to place B, and then in the quarries. That's my theory. How many? Difficult to say. I don't know how many slaves would have been used, and if the numbers are actually similar, or if there are a lot more corvée and a little bit of slaves, or there is a lot of slaves and a certain amount of corvée labor. That's unfortunately difficult to know. But I do want to raise this question before we continue. Is a corvée worker a slave? And I think the reason why this gentleman right now appears to be like, they're not slaves, they're corvée laborers, is because maybe, I could be wrong, but maybe he has a little bit of an American definition of what a slave is, meaning chattel slavery. But slavery in classical antiquity did not work like chattel slavery. It was very different. For instance, a lot of the slaves, not all, but a lot of the slaves that the Romans had were paid. So you can be paid in classical antiquity and be a slave. The two things are not mutually exclusive. So what is it that makes you a slave? Well, if you're a slave, you cannot refused to do the work, neither could the population that was called for corvée labor. If they refused, I've actually examined the documents from the period, and they tell us what the punishments are. You could become a slave for the rest of your life if you refuse to do corvée labor, for instance. So you could lose your freedom forever. You could be beaten to a pulp, and then you're going to go do it anyways. Or if you run away, the pharaoh and his officials will take someone else who's male and can work. So, for instance, your son is supposed to do it. He runs away. Well, then you're going to do it. So, or the uncle is going to do it. Someone is going to do it. And then another thing that is typical of slaves is that you'll be confined into sleeping quarters. Corvée laborers confined into sleeping quarters. You cannot leave. The only difference is that it's for a set amount of time. But this also happens in classical antiquity with slaves sometimes, that they have a set amount of time. And then if they make enough money, they could be freed. Or for instance, if the owner dies, they are freed, right? So that's also a thing. So at what point, how do we distinguish from a classical perspective a slave from a corvée laborer? Is it also a subcategory of slavery? And if it is, then now the numbers are back up. The majority would have been slaves, except for the specialist workers that were living in their own villages that were specifically built for them. So it really is a matter of nomenclature at this point. I would just be careful not to say slavery. No, there was no slavery, because at that point, I feel like we're misrepresenting the facts, if you know what I mean. Thank you, Michelle, for your support. I appreciate that. What would be the logical population of slaves be? I might be wrong, but the term slave wasn't defined by skin. Yeah, exactly. No, totally. Yeah, I mean, for instance, the Romans hated everyone equally, so they weren't racist in that way. If you weren't Roman, you would be hated. And therefore, they would take you as a slave if you were Gaul, which means you would be as white as milk. Or you could be a slave if you were a black African, they would still take you as a slave. If you were Semitic, they would take you as a slave. In fact, you could even if the most valuable slaves in ancient Rome were Greek. Because if you had that, those were the most desired. Because the Romans wanted a Greek slave. Because if you had a Greek slave, then he could teach your kids to speak Greek, which would give him a good advantage. And then you can also show off. This is actually mentioned in the sources. Sometimes kind of upper class families in Rome, they could afford the Greek slaves that were very expensive. But middle upper class, sometimes they pretended Like maybe they had a slave that was from somewhere else. They gave him or her a Greek name, and they pretended to have a Greek slave when they had guests. So this is all mentioned. But yeah, no, it was, a Roman wouldn't be a slave usually, unless you were in monumental amounts of debt. But in general, anyone could become a slave back then. So yeah.
Small villages have been discovered built specifically for housing laborers. These sites also contain various animal bones and plentiful bread jars showing a high-quality diet. But of course, the system wasn't perfect. Thanks to some classic upper-class corruption, sometimes things didn't always go right for these laborers, but they had the power to stand their ground. Dating all the way back to 1170 BC, written evidence has been found of an artisan's strike while constructing a tomb for then-pharaoh Ramesses III. The artisans complained about a lack of promised rations and outright refused to continue their work, dropping their chisels and their hammers to march right up to the ruling class's temples to make their demands. What do we want? Food! When do we want it? Food! After chit-chatting with the local vizier, the workers were able to secure the rations and continued their work. Now don't get me wrong, the labor that these guys endured was backbreaking, extremely strenuous, and downright exhausting. But they weren't outright enslaved or mistreated, as historians previously thought.
The specialist workers, I agree. But then again, I wouldn't remove completely the idea that slavery was a thing, because when it comes to the construction of all of the different pyramids, because I do think it was part of it, absolutely. Thank you, Ray Gonzalez. We are equal opportunity enslavers to Romans. Yeah, they were. Totally. Totally they were, absolutely. My Greek understands mathematics, cut to the Greek slave having to clean up. Yeah, exactly. Hello, Valentine Puppy. Good to have you here. But yeah, for sure.
We've all heard the legends about King Tut's tomb, right? If you disturb an ancient king's burial grounds, you'll be cursed, doomed to die a horrible death. Well, it's not so. You'd probably cough a bit from inhaling millennia-old mummy powder, but that's about it. Now, there has been evidence of some ancient tombs inscribed with curse-like carvings. For example, ancient warlord and Egyptian noble Ankh-Tifi wrote that, quote, "Any ruler who shall do evil or wickedness to his coffin, may the gods not accept any goods he offers, and may his heir never inherit." Wow. Similarly, an inscription on the tomb of 10th century BC ruler Kentika Ikeki warns that any impure men who enter this tomb, there will be judgment. An end shall be made for him. I shall seize his neck like a bird, and I shall cast the fear of myself into him.
Wow.
Now, in a culture that was super superstitious, anyone coming across warnings like that would be like,
"Oh shit! A ghost!"
prompting them to 180 right out of the room. When King Tut's tomb was discovered in 1922, no such written reprimands or warnings were ever found. In reality, the rumor of King Tut's curse revolves around one George Edward Stanhope Molyneux Herbert, 5th Earl of Carnarvon.
Oh, goodness gracious, that's a perfect name for a cat. Literally, guys, that's a perfect name. This is my cat, George Edward Stanhope Molyneux Herbert, the 5th Earl of goodness gracious. Earl of goodness gracious. I would like to underline the first spell. I liked the first spell. Where is the first curse? Where is it? Where did it go? There we go. Any impure man who enters this tomb, there will be judgment. Yeah, I'm going to use it. Any impure subredditor who enters this channel, there will be judgment. An end shall be made for him. I shall seize his neck like a bird. I shall cast the fear of myself into him. I'm so going to use it, guys. I'm so going to use it.
A rich English white dude who funded the whole expedition that led to the discovery of the Sandy sarcophagus. He died a whole 4 months after the opening of the tomb.
Right.
After which a journalist did what journalists do and printed a whole bunch of sensationalized fake news, attributing Lord Carnarvon's death to an inexplicable curse. To no surprise, the media ran with it, making claims of a written curse being uncovered with the tomb, though this never happened. So how did Lord Carnarvon die? He done got bit by a mosquito.
How die then? That's an interesting way to write it. Bitten by a mosquito. How do you know it wasn't sent by King Tutankhamun, though?
The resulting bump was accidentally slashed while he was shaving, making a
gracious.
pretty nasty cut that later got infected. The old chap died of blood poisoning at the age of 56. The dedicated believers have tried to attribute other deaths to the curse, but they're really grasping for straws. Of the 58 people who were present at the opening of the tomb, only 8 had died within a dozen years of the discovery, and by various means ranging from cancer to murder to natural causes. The majority of the...
Yeah, but it's an unfalsifiable claim, because anyone who wants to absolutely believe in this thing, they will say, well, yeah, of course they got cancer because they uncovered the tomb. Otherwise, they wouldn't have got it. Of course, they got murdered because of the curse. Like, they can always, it's an unfalsifiable statement, really.
Men went to live on full, healthy lives. At least they didn't steal any spooky slabs. That might have been a different story.
Spartans threw babies off a cliff. Ah, I see where it's going. Yeah, it could be that it's a Roman rumor. It's, yeah.
When you think of Spartans, you probably think about them slippery, shiny hunks of warrior men.
Well, if I think on Spartans, I don't think of a black African man, I'll be honest with you. You know me? If I think of a black African man, I'm thinking of different civilizations, cultures, and kingdoms like Kush. But whatever, yeah.
As portrayed on the silver screen, a society of strict and viciously trained bloodthirsty warriors who could decimate any opposing army. But while you're thinking about oiled up, shirtless, muscular men, you might question if this portrayal is historically accurate. It's not. In reality, the Greek city-state of Sparta had no professional army. Although growing up with militaristic training, the purpose was not to create warriors, but perfected, hardened, and respectable citizens who could serve to defend their homeland if need be. That little element of perfection is where some rumors of Spartan eugenics come in. It is believed that ancient Spartans practiced infanticide, the act of killing deformed or undesired babies as a way to strengthen the Spartan society. However, the biggest downfall of this myth is that there's only one historical source that alludes to this barbaric practice, and it's this guy, Roman historian Plutarch. He wrote that Spartan elders would examine newborns for imperfections.
It's possible that it's something that he just made up, or like a rumor. We don't know. But it's because we have no other mention, particularly within the Greek world, then it's possible that it's like a rumor just to say, oh, goodness gracious, did you hear? We don't know, but it's one of those things. Thank you, Tonias Busy, for becoming a member of the channel. Really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Stay until the end because we're going to have a 30-minute section just for members in a little bit. Thank you. Yeah. Let's see. So, yeah, there's another thing I wanted to say. Let me see. Pretty good video so far, though. I like it. So the Spartan thing, he said. Yeah, you know, the part where he had to censor the Renaissance art because he can't show nudity is so... I know it's not his fault. Hate the game, not the player. I understand he needs to do it, and so do I. But it is so stupid. So when it's like Renaissance art... then you have to, oh no, don't show any nudity. And then on YouTube, you've got nude yoga and what is it, like Brazilian shaving, like if, oh no, it's a tutorial. Are you joking? So real people you could show nudity? And of course, you know they're doing it on purpose so that people click. And I don't even know why, because I mean, you can find prawn everywhere. I don't see why you have to find it, whatever. But then the art, the statues need to be censored. How stupid of a society have we become at this point? Like literally in 300 years, people will look back at this kind of stuff and say, these guys were idiots. Well, I want it written right now. I disagree with this nonsense. So someone who is watching this video in 500 years in the future, please note, I have nothing whatsoever to do with this nonsense. Thank you. Just wanted to say it. You know what it is.
Or weaknesses. Good, bad, good. What the?
Hello, Daddy.
Oh no.
Ew. If any were ever found, they would just yeetus the fetus off the Taygetus mountainside. This ensured that only the best of the best would be able to thrive to crushing adulthood. But this bit of literature is almost certainly a bunch of baloney. While historians can't confirm with 100% certainty, they can confirm with 99.9% certainty that this just flat out never happened. Excavations around the proposed baby hucking sites have failed to present any supporting evidence. There have been a few adult remains discovered, but no teeny tiny toddler tibias were ever among them. If you needed more convincing, Plutarch's writings date some 600 years after the height of Spartan civilization. So it might have just been some silly Spartan slander. That would be like if future archaeologists in the year 4000 unearthed fan fiction from today about how medieval Europeans would just shit their britches to ward off witches. Sure, it's questionable, but you could kind of see that happening, right?
Gladiators fought to the death. Good. I'm glad he's addressing this one. Very nice. So far, it's pretty good, though. Nice. Next.
Despite what you may think, death was not the goal of gladiator battles in the Roman Colosseum.
Absolutely,
If
yeah.
it was, Rome would have run out of them real quick.
Very true.
Now keep in mind that the Colosseum was active for over 400 years, hosting a plethora of different events ranging from gladiator battles to public criminal executions to
Yep.
full-fledged naval battle reenactments with the entire Colosseum being flooded. Pretty wild.
Absolutely, yeah. These are called naumachia. Did you know that in the waters, the Romans added sometimes crocodiles and hippopotami? I don't know, but anyways, that's what they did. Yeah. And the Flavian Amphitheater, absolutely. One thing I wanted to say about, yes, of course, yeah, no, they would not have them die all the time. That would be crazy. It would be financially insane. Yeah. And I know that in Gladiator 2, we even see sharks in the Colosseum. I have found no proof, because these are mentioned, by the way, both the hippos and the crocodiles are mentioned in the sources, Martial, Pliny the Elder, among others. Sharks did exist, though, in ancient Rome. They were farming them off the coasts just outside of Rome. They were absolutely farming sharks. I just don't see how the transportation to it depends on the species, but a lot of sharks usually, they can't breathe unless they move. So that kind of transportation would be problematic today. We can do it, of course, but for ancient Rome to bring them from the coasts where they were farming them to the Colosseum would have been complicated unless they used those specific species that use buccal pumping for breathing, which do exist and are still sharks. But then again, no mention of sharks in the arena. There are mentions of rhinos, there are mentions of monkeys, specifically the cynocephalus monkeys, which means dog-headed. So they tell us what they put in there. Sharks was not one of those. So yeah, they did flood it though. Yeah, they did do it, absolutely.
Wild, right? Well, gladiator battles were basically the equivalent of today's UFC or boxing matches,
MMA.
just with swords and spears instead of fists.
MMA.
These fights were spectacles of sport, and the gladiators were the athletes.
Yeah.
You had some super famous gladiators, rookie gladiators, and everything in between. While some gladiators were slaves, criminals, or prisoners of war fighting for their chance of freedom, most of the big old brutes fought for fame and fortune, or just the high-octane dopamine rush of being able to legally stab someone in the kidney and getting praised for it. Roman citizens were hyped to watch two dudes duke it out in a sweaty, sandy, sassy struggle of strength. But
so are we. I mean, we watch boxing, we watch MMA, and sometimes MMA gets brutal. Or like when you see someone, like, have you ever seen the Taekwondo Korean champion, the Professor? That's what he's called. Some of those kicks that one-shot people and they just literally system shut down, and then they have to be revived and brought out with the... Yeah, no, we all humans, particularly the male population, I want to say, is interested in legal violence and sport violence. We just like it. I watch it too. So yeah, it's not like that, because often we're like, oh, the Romans were so bloodthirsty. I'm like, yeah, I mean, so are we. Similarly, so are we. And it's just what it is.
things were a lot more exciting than just the vanilla missionary position 9-to-5 white picket fence 1.5 children-ass sword and shield type gladiators. Nope. Actually, there were about 30 different types of gladiators ready to clang and bang away at each other. You had your dual-wielding Dodecahedron.
Dodecahedron, yeah, that's a horrible representation of the Dodecahedron, but it's fine because, I mean, I think they're not just these, you know, it's a funny channel, so it's not a problem. But yeah, the Dodecahedron is the one with the two swords, absolutely.
The trident-chucking Retiarius.
Retiarius, this is too armored for a Retiarius, but yeah, trident, and yeah, that's the fisherman. Pretty cool. It's actually a very nice class.
The silly-looking Caesar and the alls-out balls.
What do you mean silly-looking? The Caesar is awesome. I mean, that's the same helmet that the Secutor class uses, that it's kind of the upgraded and patched opponent for the Retiarius, because the net was actually sticking too easily on the helmets of the, for example, Traex or Murmillo, so they actually patched the game, and because, you know, they nerfed the Retiarius a little bit, and they created these helmets that were used by the Secutor class so that it would be harder for the net to stick. It's an awesome, I want that helmet so much. Provocator is another really good one, I agree. Kestus.
Calls out Cestus, among other DLC characters. So imagine that you're living your boring Roman life, sitting in your boring Roman house, scratching your boring Roman balls when you suddenly catch wind of the gladiator battle of the century. Two andabate pitted against each other. You'd lose your shit.
Yeah.
Why would you lose your shit? Because and Abate were condemned criminals fighting each other completely blind.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a form of punishment, 2 criminals equipped with nothing more than a sealed helmet and a rusty sword were dumped out into the arena and forced to square off. It's like watching 2 blindfolded kids trying to whack at a piñata, except they're both potential piñatas. Now, while formal gladiator duels were not to the death, of course some still died.
Yeah.
But it was more common to die by bleeding out after the match had been called by the referee. Oh yeah, they had referees. These were often retired gladiators tasked with...
And look at this. This is one of my favorite mosaic to show gladiatorial combat. I love that you can see the fighting position. Like, look at the bent knee a little bit. Weight probably 70% forward, 30% back. This is turned. It's kind of similar to a Zenkoku Dachi for traditional karate, if you are aware, if you know that one. And we find the same posture with the leg position. It's a very strong, very stable leg position, by the way. We see the same posture used with ancient Roman legionaries, actually. So it's probably a mixture between WWE and MMA, to be honest, because there is an entertainment factor, but there is also the fact that these guys are actually really good at fighting. Most likely they know what they're doing. And a certain level of violence is absolutely that. Like, they were trying to hit each other. It's not like it's completely... So it's a bit of in between both, I think. So yeah, fascinating. And I love the shield. We can see the size of the shield of the scutum. The manicae, we can see that we can imagine the material. This is probably a bronze, I would say, a polished bronze, which would have this kind of color in period. The little armored leg here. Yeah, it's fascinating stuff.
Making sure that the rules of battle were being followed and stopping fights before final blows were dealt.
Yeah.
You see, gladiators were expensive investments,
Absolutely.
so their managers wanted them alive for as long as possible, lest they start all over leveling up another rookie from scratch.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, professional gladiator battles were not performed for the sake of death, just for the thrill of the fight, and the potential of death.
He's absolutely right. Ooh, Nero. Ooh, it's going to get good. He's absolutely right. I love this section on the gladiators, and... one more thing I want to say, you know how he mentioned that sometimes criminals would be executed and instead of just being, just speared to death, they would put them against each other for a big spectacle during the gladiatorial games. Interestingly enough, if you have ever heard the expression, Aue Caesar morituri te salutant, so hail Caesar, those who are about to die salute you. That's actually, it was never said by gladiators. That's a massive misconception, and I hate that they made a whole movie about it, with gladiators saying it. No gladiator has ever been recorded saying that sentence, but you know who has been recorded? Criminals. They were about to die, and so they did say that. So that's one thing. We don't know that, we don't believe, there is no reason to believe that gladiators said that thing, precisely because, again, generally speaking, they weren't going to die. And I think it's also where some of the misconception that gladiators who are going to die comes from. So it would be important to debunk that one and just say criminals said that. Criminals said that, not gladiators. All right, Nero. That's a good one. Let's go.
Ancient myths are tough for modern historians to interpret, as historical writers across time have their own biases. Depending on how they felt about a certain historical figure, they could cement their legacy in history as a smart fella or a fart smella. The prevailing myth that Roman Emperor Nero diddled his fiddle as Rome burned to the ground is one that should go up in smoke. It's commonly believed that Nero, having descended into madness over the course of his reign, started the Great Fire of Rome in 64 AD, a disastrous and destructive inferno that destroyed nearly 3/4 of the Roman capital. Accusations claim that Nero didn't really like the look of Rome and wanted to rebuild it in his own vision with a lavish and gaudy golden palace.
We could say in his own image, in fact. So, interesting. I want to see how he's going to address this. The accusation of madness in Latin, there are several terms that are used in the sources. One is insania, for instance. Another one is furor, when it has more to do with passions and desires, all the way up to the sexual ones. But the accusation of madness is extremely common in the sources, as he's mentioning. Plato, Cicero, Sallus, just 3 examples that come to mind just like that. Now, whether or not it's a state of a psychopathological condition, that or it was just propaganda, specifically anti-imperial, coming from senatorial classes, that is really difficult to address. So was it actually crazy, or were they accusing him posthumously of being crazy as a way to kind of do a little bit of, as I say, anti-imperial propaganda, or maybe different attack of a political opponent is really difficult to say. I'll say more about that, but there are a lot of emperors that it's not just a matter of Nero. They're focusing on Nero. You could do the exact same thing about Commodus, Elagabalus, Claudius, Caligula. They've all been accused of being crazy. Have you ever heard of the situation of Caligula being accused of having given the title of senator to his horse? Well, that never happened, by the way. He only threatened of doing it, and he never did it. But as I say, yeah, the threatening, the thing that you say, oh, these guys are nuts, all over the place in ancient Roman sources. All over the place.
Palace, so a conveniently timed fire would have been a great opportunity to do so. The fire is suspected to have started in a shopping district stockpiled with flammable goods.
Yeah.
Once the fire started, it was nearly impossible to contain. Rome was a dense city, streets were narrow, housing structures were wooden, and the wind was a-blowin'. This set of conditions provided the perfect environment for the big ol' fire to really roar. The blaze lasted for 9 whole days, decimating 10 of Rome's 14 districts. But was Emperor Nero to blame? Not at all.
He blamed the Christians, and that's true. I've already made a video to discuss it.
According to Tacitus, one of the most influential Roman historians at the time, Nero was not near Rome when the fire started. He was actually several miles away in the coastal town of Antium, but he rushed back home to Rome once he caught wind of the disaster. When he did get back, Nero actually funded relief efforts and opened up private gardens and other structures for shelter to those affected. Despite these efforts, Nero still came under scrutiny from the nobles who hated him, claiming that he should have
Yeah, I mean, the simple fact that he wasn't in Rome doesn't really remove the suspicion, because just because you're not in Rome, the only thing that proves is that you weren't the one to physically ignite it. That's it. But imagine if he actually did want to do it. He could have paid someone to do it and then leave Rome precisely because he knows. Like, you know how it can be flipped. You could say, well, the simple fact that he wasn't in Rome is because he knew all along and he didn't want to risk it. So, I mean, you can't really use it as evidence. It could be flipped either way.
Responded sooner and provided more assistance.
Freaking Nero, dude. I bet my scorched ass cheeks he started that fire himself. Yeah, you're right. He probably did.
Guys, he was literally miles away in another city.
Yeah, it doesn't really prove much.
What did you do?
And that's how rumors start. In actual fact, there is no historical evidence that Nero started the fire, and especially no evidence that he played the fiddle when Rome burned. Mostly because the fiddle wouldn't be invented for another 900 years. It would
have been the harp, probably, if it really was a thing, one of the musical instruments that he was going for. And by the way, the fact that we are told, one of the things in which the Roman historians actually attacked the character of people of rank was oftentimes to underline that they were indulging in things that weren't appropriate for their rank. So playing instruments is one of these. Another one would be fighting as a gladiator. That's one of the things that was used, like you're not supposed. So there's nothing wrong with fighting as a gladiator as long as you do it within the rank that makes it appropriate. So there is a lot of that in Rome, and there are plenty of other things that are mentioned, like, for instance, the fact that Elagabalus was putting on makeup. This is something that people sometimes bring up to say, look, he was transgender. He wasn't. He was putting on makeup because it was an Eastern tradition within a ritualistic religious cult because he was from that area, was from Syria. And that's something that he did. But the Romans do make fun of him precisely because to them it's something it's like something that they called mollezze. I'm using the Italian term now, mollezze dell'Est, which could be translated as those weak men of the East that do things that we don't do because we are real men. That's how the sources attack him. And so now, there was a certain level, for instance, of sexual debauchery with a lot of Roman emperors, like even worse than Elagabalus. For instance, you've got people like Tiberius and Claudius, if I'm not wrong, but Tiberius for sure, who started to be attracted by minors, for instance, even very young. So that's, the kind of disgusting behavior. But once again, is it true? Or is it something that was actually written just to discredit him? It's always difficult to know when it comes to anti-imperial propaganda specifically. And when it comes to Tiberius, it's also possible that he was getting senile at that point, because it gets worse the older he gets. So there's that. Yeah, no, but in general, this idea of whether they were crazy or not. So is it actually a, I don't know, mentally unstable clinical condition, or are they just calling them mad because when someone is mad, then you can justify anything that you throw at them because they're crazy. So if they're crazy, then they do this stuff because they are crazy. They're all crazy. We don't want to deal with that. It's difficult to say. It really is. I think one interpretation that I read at one point, because this has been, they've been trying to look at the different accusations and do an analysis. And maybe some of these emperors may have had epileptic psychosis. But once again, take that with a grain of salt, because it's really difficult to do that kind of diagnosis from someone who was, alive 2,000 years ago. So there's that.
That the claim is part of Christian propaganda, as Nero famously blamed them for the fire, leading to their persecution.
Yeah.
So who really got...
Yeah, Christians didn't appreciate that. I mean, yeah, totally. Yeah, ancient Roman Christians were like, we don't like that. But it did happen that he persecuted the Christians, so...
the last laugh? It was Nero. He burned a lot of Christians.
Okay, well, I gotta say, this is a pretty nice video. As you know, I don't watch them until the end, so the Aztec part, I'm gonna skip it so you guys can watch it. And I'm just gonna watch the very end to see what he's gonna say at the end. Let's have a look, but pretty good.
1929 stock market crash did not cause the Great Depression. It was the writing on the wall that the system was breaking.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't know anything about this whatsoever, so the crash of Wall Street, I haven't got a clue.
From repeating itself. And we'll see how that goes. Well, that's the end of this video.
Cool.
Did you learn something new?
I gotta say, pretty good. Very entertaining. So I'll give him a like, as usual. Channel is Chat History. And very nice. Very nice. Appreciate that. Cool. Well, I've got to say, I want to now focus on chat, because we did react to 4 videos. Man, that's a lot. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to move the chat to the front of the screen, and we're going to go into the section for members. So if you're a member of the channel, or you've been considering becoming a member of the channel, well, this is the time, because the chat now is all yours. And for everyone else who's not a member, do consider that oftentimes memberships are gifted randomly among people that watch. So if you're not a member, you could become a member today for free. So that could happen. So I hope that you still stay a little bit. And in fact, one thing I want to dedicate, as we always do, to those who are still not members. Let's see who's going to be able to get the last chat that is gray and not green in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Muppet. All right, let's have a look. What have we got? So let me move. Twitch chat is going to be here a little bit as well as guests. I'll give priority to members, but still, I'm going to still read this chat as well. And Twitch people, tonight we are playing horror games, just so you know. We're going to have some good ones. Thunderwing, man, you're like a, this guy's quick. This guy's a ninja. Thank you very much. And the first member to speak is Aloha. Any question you had, guys? Now is your time to shine. Feel free to ask whatever you want. And yeah, we're going to have a good time. So what did you think about the videos we watched? Which one was your favorite? We watched quite a few. I was impressed by the Chronicles Medieval, I have to say. This game looks good. I mean, maybe it's just me, but the other day we watched Anno 117, and that was also really impressive. That's a problem. I'm gonna have to spend quite a bit of money. So please do become members of the channel so I can get all these games. And by the way, since we always say this, I gotta do this now. We always do this when we start the member section.
Welcome to the inner circle.
We always do that. And it's always nice to do. All right, members, how you doing tonight? Have you worked on the old Earth versus new Earth video? No, not yet. It's kind of low priority right now, but I will make it. I got a few other videos. I need to do a video on the Vikings, for instance, because once again, universities in the UK now are pushing stuff about the Vikings that is nonsense, and so I'm going to have to respond. So I'm making that video, and that one has priority. And then, but yeah, no, I'll do it. It's just it's going to take some time to work on that. For sure. Luis Jez says, loved vids. Will you be diving into Silent Still 2 this evening? Yeah. So yeah. So the only reason why I wouldn't be live streaming tonight is if I'm very tired and so I'm going to sleep early, or if I get a headache. Sometimes I skip. Otherwise, so if I'm not too tired tonight, yeah, I will be playing. But if it's not tonight, it's going to be tomorrow night. But if it is tonight, around 10:30, 11 Central Daylight Time, do come and check to see if I'm live. Or maybe check your email to see if you get a notification if you're following me on stream, on Twitch, sorry, and then we'll be playing. Thank you, Faith Forged Games, for becoming a member. Man, Commander level. That's one of the high tiers. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you, Faith Forged Games.
Is it me or the filters make everything sound epic? It really does. Appreciate that. Thank you. How excited are you to try Olive Garden? Well, I'm curious, Goatee, but excited, I don't know. I can flip the table when it comes to Italian food, so I don't know. It could become a mess, guys. I could end up having them. It could happen that they end up calling security on me, so that could happen. I don't know, man. I don't know. Thanks for the vids, man. Absolutely. Been watching long enough without showing you some love. Hey, not a problem, man. I appreciate you becoming a member. Absolutely. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. By the way, when it comes to memberships, let me give you the numbers, because we are getting dangerously close to 700 members on the channel. Let me just check very quickly the actual number right now. So how many channel members we've got? This really helps, by the way. I appreciate that. We've got 642. So if 8 people join tonight, we'll hit 650. We'll hit 650. And I'd be very grateful, guys. That's our new goal. That's our new goals, guy. 8 people. 8 people. It was 9 people, but now you joined. 8 people, guys. And we hit 650. I was gifted a membership. Yes, Wonder. I'm glad to hear. I'm really glad to hear. Love to see it. No, not funny at all. Not at all. It's good to have you here. And then you get access to the special videos, to the polls, to the member section to speak. Totally. Totally. Only 17,000 subs until 1 million. Yeah, although then again, we had reached 884,000 subscribers, but then it reverted back to 883. So we lost like 200 subs for no reason. That happens. It kind of keeps happening. It's the second time we hit 984,000, and then we go back to 983,000. It's kind of annoying because I would like to apply for the, after 12 years, it would be nice. I've got 1 year per apostle, literally. It would be nice to get the play button. That would be nice, but we'll have to see, because growth has been a little weird lately. Yeah, YouTube shenanigans, absolutely. Ebb and flow of YouTube, I guess, but then again, I've never been this low with subscriber. I mean, usually my average has been 10,000 people a month, the growth. I've had situation when it went up to 75,000, but that only happened like once for a month, and then it went down again. So as you say, ups and downs. But last month, the number of subscribers went down to 300 people. It was like, what on earth is going on? Then luckily went back up to about 3,000 right now. That's where we are at. And I hope that it just keeps going up again. It's annoying that sometimes it's weird. I wonder what's going on, to be honest. But it's one of those things. Yeah, thank you, Trembling Colors, for becoming a member. 7 to go, guys. 7 members to go. We hit 650. Because members do help. Because when it comes to regular videos and subscribers, it's all the machine and the algorithm and whatever the heck they decide that it's offensive, then that influences the success of the platform. Members becomes its own self-funded thing, which is nice, because then it's just you and me, and we don't have to worry about YouTube shenanigans. And then I can do a poll and tell you, hey, I've got these 4 videos. Which ones you like the most? You guys choose it. And then we can discuss the kind of content here during these live stream sections that I have. And that's great. Who cares? Who cares? At that point, we post the video and only you guys watch it, and the core audience. At that point, if it doesn't go outside, it still annoys me. The regular subscriber would still enjoy the content, that don't get the notification, because that pisses me off from YouTube, to be honest. But at least we don't have to worry about, this could have gone outside and recruit new people. Yeah, it's fine. It's like, it's you and me at this point and whatever. Who cares? Have you been reading any fiction lately? Fiction, no, I haven't had really time. The only things I read lately are like PhD theses and papers for video research. And yeah, that's pretty much all I read for video making. The one on his screen trailer is amazing. Which one were you talking about again? YouTube. Let me see if I can screen trailer. I don't know which one it was, but yeah. Let me put you here. But yeah, we're close. 17,000 subscribers. I mean, it could happen. If one video goes viral, then we're going to get it. We just need one video to go viral. We'll hit 1 million. And that would be great. That would be great if it happens. Yeah. What upcoming game are you most excited about? I'm kind of excited for 007 First Light. I was a huge 007 fan back in the day. I mean, yeah, sure. The Nintendo 64 one was like an incredible game. Like literally everybody had it. Remember playing it for split screen. It was great. First player was always the owner, right? It's my house. I'm first player. It was always like that. But yeah, no, that was a great game. I think I'm more looking forward to this one here, Anno 117. I do want to play Expedition 33 though. I know it's already out, but I'm kind of late to that one, but I'm thinking I might like it. Best pause music ever made. Wow. Yeah, GoldenEye was so good, Quank Bai. 100%, man. Do I have a physical copy of GoldenEye? I don't know. I've got a bunch of N64 games back there. In box. I don't know if I have a GoldenEye though. I could check. Let me see. I don't think I have it because those are expensive. But let me see. Pilot Wings, Gauntlet, Mario Kart. We got a Perfect Dark. No GoldenEye though. No. Still have to find it. Yeah, no GoldenEye. We got a Perfect Dark though. So let me show you that one at least. Oh, and someone was asking if I have a Paperboy. Maybe not. No, I don't think I have a Paperboy. Let me see. Probably not. I mean, I might have it for Commodore 64. Maybe I have it for Commodore 64. I don't think I have it for NES. I thought I did, but no. Anyways, what we do have is this. So this is still nice to see. Perfect Dark. New, never opened. So we got this, but I do need to see if I can find a GoldenEye. It would be nice to have. You know, it's so many memories. Golden. Do you remember the Golden Gun, the one that you one shot? That was fun. What was your favorite level? For me, it was the facility. Since you like medieval things, you should play the Knights and Oni in Dead by Daylight. Man, Dead by Daylight, I played it a little bit, but I never was like... It's a good game, but I kind of got bored of it. Yeah, that was a fun game. You're absolutely right, Wonder Bucket. I hope the Chronicle Medieval has good techniques for pole arms. Me too. They're always treated as afterthoughts. Yeah. I'm more interested in seeing them... I hope they add a charge with a lance, which was a thing in the original Mount and Blade. I hope they add that. That would be great. To do an actual cavalry charge with lances rather than having to use swords and stuff like that. That'd be great. Even if the lance breaks, although then again, the lances that break more easily are the ones for the joust. The lances for like this kind of military charge, they're a lot sturdier. They could still break, but they're a lot sturdier and you're supposed to be able to do it multiple times. So that would be really cool to have a lance and do a cavalry charge. The new Marvel fighting game will be big. Not sure I'm into Marvel fighting games though. Desert Drifter, new channel you found, explores and even discovers ancient sites in the US desert. Really? Wow. With a geologist, cool. I actually did a live stream with a geologist the other night. It was on another channel, World of Antiquity, and there was a geologist there. We discussed a little bit. KCD2 is amazing. You're missing out. I have it, Francisco. I already have it. It's just that right now I'm not into it. I want to play other games, but I will play it. And like between the two, I kind of wanted to play Oblivion more, the remaster, because of the nostalgia pull, I guess. But sure, yeah, I mean, I will play it at one point. Have you ever made a video about the winged hussars? I think I did. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Light 7 Foot made it happen. Sent 10 Metatron gift memberships. So this way now we crossed the 650. We're like 654. Thank you so much, Light 7. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. But I warn you, it's a gut punch later. Well, oh, I see. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, we'll see how it goes. The video, the channel you meant. Man, W in chat for Light 7. Thank you so much, Light 7. Really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. And for all of those who just got the memberships, I'm going to do it in angel voice. Welcome to the inner circle. We use the demon voice a lot tonight and just wanted to use the angel voice a little bit. And welcome Andy Viant for becoming a member. Thank you so much. Appreciate. Welcome among the noble ones. The noble, well, we're all noble ones, but welcome among the noblest noble ones, I guess. Yeah. Good evening, Shinigami Maxi on Twitch. Appreciate having you here. Hey, we got some shields and helmets. I need to add more helmets, by the way. I already have them. It's just that you need to reach a certain number of members in order, as a creator, to add even more emojis. But I think we have hit it, so I just need to add them. I've got an armlet. I've got all sorts of helmets. There we go. You see the frog mouth there, but I've got plenty more that are still kettle hats. I've got all sorts. They're already prepared. Hey, Primo Elf. Man, I remember your name. Primo Health, thank you so much. Primo Health is a huge supporter of the channel. Thank you so much for all of your generosity, man. I'll never forget that. The guy that gifted 100 subscriptions on Twitch. Blew my mind. Good to have you here, man. Thank you very much for being here. Really appreciate that. So, yeah. I like remembering the names of you guys, like whenever you... I mean, I try to remember as many members as possible, and then subscribers on Twitch, because I see them purple. Members are green on YouTube. I actually appreciate that it's color-coded. That's really nice. But I always want to remember you guys, because, I mean, it's the minimum. It's the minimum. I can't remember 1 million subscribers, but I can remember the members on YouTube and the subscribers on Twitch. I hate that I have to keep the fact that a subscriber on YouTube is a follower on Twitch, and a member on YouTube is a subscriber on Twitch. I think I got it. It still takes a lot of brain power, at least for me. It's one of those things. Hey, Common Sense 301. I'm glad you appreciate the helmets. So yeah, we're here. We're having a good time. So this Chronicles Medieval, I have to say, looking really, really promising. I'm playing that one as soon as it comes out. I'm telling you that much. But yesterday night we played this horror game called Silent Still, and it's all about like sleep paralysis demons. Mamma mia, that I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. It was crazy. Yeah, the anticipation. So I think tonight, if I'm not too sleepy, I might play the second chapter and it's gonna be good. I saw the Kermit video before the stream and it was really funny. Oh, goodness gracious, that Kermit. Yeah, Jordan Peterson versus 20 Kermit. That made my day. I started the stream with that one. That was great. Louise says, I've got to pick that game up. Terrifying. Yeah, totally. It's fun. Yeah, it's good. I could not directly look at the screen the entire time I watched. Yeah, that was intense. I couldn't touch the freaking mouse. I thought this is gonna jump scare me. I'm gonna explode. And people are going to clip it and whatever. I mean, sure, I'll take it. I just saw the video for it right before you went live. I see. I have high hopes for the Chronicles. Yeah, Chronicles is good. I mean, look at that armor. In fact, why don't we change the image? I liked this one here when you see a little bit of the army with all the banners and you see like a hound scowl here. This guy is not wearing a helmet right now, but it did show that then he puts the helmet on, so I appreciated that. That makes absolute total sense. Right now he's in a moment of not immediate danger, so that would have absolutely happened. In fact, Medieval Knights owned several helmets. So you could wear something when you're in the camp, when you're getting ready to engage with the enemy, you swap, give the helmet to your squire, and have them give you the one helmet that you're going to use during the charge. So yeah, that happened. They had multiple setups, multiple settings, if you will. So yeah. I'm not sure if recommendations are allowed. Always allowed, absolutely, Shinigami. Would you consider checking out Sand Roman History on YouTube? I'll write it down, maybe for another stream, because today we already checked 4 videos, and I think 4 is enough for a single setting, for a single sitting, if you know what I mean. I think 4 is enough, but there we go. I just copied it on the document. So, did you get the new Elden Ring game? No, because I haven't finished the original. So, and I don't know if I will, because I'm not that good. I love Souls games. I never finished one. So I don't know if Elden Ring is going to be the one that I'm going to manage to finish. I'll probably have to watch some video tutorials where people actually teach you how to get good. Because the only Souls game that I actually played until pretty late in the game, having defeated several bosses, was Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 1, yeah, but I didn't get that far. I mean, sort of. Yeah. And then Dark Souls 3, I got stuck immediately, didn't know where to go. And I wasn't a Bloodborne fan because of the setting. I know a lot of people love it and it's their favorite. That I can see that. But you have to give me a knight. So when you give me a Victorian setting, it's not for me. That's why I will always prefer Demon Souls and Dark Souls. Demon Souls is another one that I played quite a bit, but I never finished one. Elden Ring looks spectacular to me. I hope to be able to actually start a playthrough with you guys. I'm going to have to need your help, though, on Twitch and whatever, because I don't know what I'm doing with that game. Yeah. And whenever you watch streamers that know what they're doing, and I'm not even talking about the ones that are incredible, that they can finish the entire game, no death, no hit, no damage. Like, yeah, that's insane. But I'm saying, like, regardless of the geniuses, even streamers that still die a lot but still know what they're doing, they make it look easy. Then I pick up the controller and I just, okay, so I'm going to dodge. I try to dodge, dead, great, thank you. No, I do like, yeah, Primo Elf says I could never get into Souls games. I love them. That's the thing. I love them. I really like Souls games, like a lot. But yeah, I think I just have to watch videos that explain to me how you're actually supposed to play them, maybe what a good build is. I never was into builds. The only thing in Dark Souls 2, but then again, I know that the skills don't do the same. Like, the characteristics are not equal among the different Dark Souls. But in 2, I remember putting a lot of points into the, I don't remember what it was, if it was Endurance, the one that allowed you to it was easier to dodge because you had more frames, the allowance. I remember that there was one skill that I leveled up a lot to be able to do that. And there are several bosses that I defeated naked in that game. So it was basically a fashion Souls. For me, the armor is fashion. So I will spend a lot of souls into the armor because I want to look good, like a medieval knight. I always play the knight, by the way. Don't play magic. Don't even mention it. But sometimes there were some bosses that I had to fight naked. It was just easier to get the light dodge, if you know what I mean. Light roll. Hey, Joe W. Good to have you here. Hello. Dreamheart says, I can appreciate Victorian history as much as medieval history. Yeah, I know. Plenty of people love Bloodborne. It's just, it didn't click with me. Do you ever play Sekiro? I have a few videos of me playing Sekiro, making video analyses. It was good, but once again, I love the Japanese stuff. Sekiro looked really good. I'll have to take it again, because I think what happened is that I defeated one boss and then I got stuck. I think it's also because when I wasn't streaming at all, I didn't have the time that you need to put into a Souls game to get good. Now I could because I stream on Twitch. So really, if anything, now would be the time for me to choose one and actually dump the amount of time needed to get good at it, because I could stream it. And so if people subscribe during the live streams, it's that it could be good. I could put more hours into it and justify it, if you know what I mean. I'll just have to choose one and decide which one I'm gonna do. Yeah. Yeah, and then of course I can just edit the playthroughs and post them on the gaming channel. And now my setup as a creator is different than what it used to be. I used to just do the single channel. Now I live stream. I do 3 channels. So it's different. I do Twitch. So it's easy. It's easier to justify different things, which is fun. I like that. It's like girls you love but can't have. What? The Souls games. Absolutely. Talking about a girl, I need to unbox this. Red Chun-Li. We're gonna do the unboxing tonight. Let me see if I have. I'm gonna start unboxing it right now while I chat with you, because yeah, we're doing that. In fact, I'm gonna go full screen for this, but chat is still here in front of me. Yeah. And why do I always open even though I know I've opened so many Jada toys, and I still forget that it's easier to open them from the bottom of my heart. Here we are. We need Street Fighter music for this. You're absolutely right. There we go. Let's get some Chun-Li music, but low, so it's not too Chun-Li music. Street Fighter. There we go. Yeah, but I need to turn on. It's so strange with OBS. If my headphones are off, you don't hear the music. Interestingly enough, it's probably how I set it up, but that's what we've got. So let me lower it so it's not too overbearing. At this point, we can look at it. Yeah, let's go. How about that? Okay, so Chun-Li it is. I'm actually looking forward to display this one. Let's see. Oh yeah, I need to, let's go. Let me make sure that I can see chat though. There. Splendid. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, I think that should do it. Okay. Woohoo! There she is. There she is. All right, so. No problem, Daniel. Yeah, I'm still here. Still here. We're unboxing Chun-Li. We're unboxing Chun-Li live. Let me see. Can I just pick her up, or is she connected? Oh yeah, is she connected? Doesn't look. Oh yeah, it is. She is. Yeah, she is. Okay. Let's disconnect her. I love that they give you a little representation of the level as well. I kind of like this for like display purposes. I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, Chun-Li ASMR stream, exactly. All right, let me see if I can cut this. One. Okay. Two. Oh yeah, that was removed like that. Any more? No, that was easy, man. That was easy. There she is. There she is. Man, perfect timing with the video. Okay. There she is. Chun-Li, Jada Toys. Red Chun-Li. I've already got a blue Chun-Li, of course, but tonight we are unboxing Red Chun-Li. I think it's good. I mean, for $25, Jada Toys gives you, I think, excellent action figures, and the articulation is also pretty good. You can do some nice poses. I mean, not the best articulation ever, but still pretty decent for what it is, I have to say. Let's give a one down. Of course, you can do the kicks if that's what you want, since, I mean, it's Chun-Li, so we got the kicks. I think she can kick higher than that. Yeah. Can turn her a little bit to the side, give her a little balance with a kick. Pretty good. Yeah, so I'm very happy with this one. I'm gonna put her right next to Cammy. So we got the girls, one next to the other. And yeah, looking forward to that. We got our Chun-Li tonight. We got our Chun-Li. Very cool. What do you guys think? She's awesome. She is, yeah. I still prefer a blue, but it's nice to have an option, like, so you can put the different. I also have a pink one. I haven't unboxed that one because I only have one, and usually I unbox if I have two. So one stays in box and one gets unboxed. So I haven't unboxed the pink one. It's a special edition. But if I do find a copy of that, then I'll unbox it as well. I hope they make What could they make as the next color? What do you think? What other options did we have here? So we have, yeah, blue. I got blue. We got, let me see. We got pink. I have pink. We got red. Maybe yellow. Oh, gray. In theory, they should do gray. Not a fan of Gray Chun-Li, though. I think the red one is pretty cool that we've got here. There she is. There she is. Red Chun-Li, yeah. Nice. I should use scissors? Yeah, you're probably right. Although I never point the blade towards me. I always push away from me, so I kind of know how to do that. Yeah, having been collecting Warhammer figures for since I was 13, but still, you're right. Probably next time I'll use a pair of scissors just to be extra safe. Why not? Why not? They should make a cop uniform one like they did with Diva for Overwatch. I agree. Absolutely. I just got into Third Strike. Third Strike is pretty nice. Graphically, looks nice. Particularly the colors, how overly saturated they are. I love playing Ken dressed in blue or green. Both colors look incredible with Third Strike. Yeah. I like Third Strike a lot. Thank you very much, everyone, becoming subscribers on Twitch. I really appreciate that. I think we hit the 10 subscribers goal. Appreciate that. Third Strike was the best on arcade. Yeah, I mean, I never played it on arcade. I own it for I think I played it on the 30th edition. And by the way, the 30th edition, it's kind of crazy because Super Street Fighter 2 is unplayable. It doesn't matter if you put the minimum amount of difficulty. It's always going to be maxed out, the difficulty. It's a bug. And it's annoying. It's really annoying. But all the other games work fine. But that one, impossible to play. At least for me. Yeah. There's a YouTuber called Animist who takes those posable figures and does stop motion animation with those. Ooh, I'll have to check them out. Animist Street Fighter. Let's see. Oh, I see. Yeah, Ryu, Sakura, Chun-Li, Ultra Combo stop motion. Yeah, look at those. What are those? Storm collectible, probably. Yeah, just by looking at them, I think those are Storm collectibles. Let's have a look. Kind of want to watch this. It's just 1 minute. Let's have a look. Let's see. Oh, that's impressive. Did you see that? No way. Oh, that's so smooth. That's a very cute Sakura, by the way. Sakura versus Red Bull. Ooh, this guy is good. Man, that's impressive. Oh, come on. If Sakura can do it, Ryu can do it. Let's see next. Haha. Oh my gosh, she's gonna destroy it. Even the storm, mamma mia. Yeah, I mean, do you remember doing the car bonus level? Oh no. With Chun-Li, I was gonna say, uh-oh. Oh. She does cry when she loses, doesn't she? Kikosho. There we go. Yeah, I mean, I love there is a sugar-free one. Yeah, subscribe immediately. Where is it? Well, I'll give him a like, but I want to. Right now, I'm logged in with my second channel. I'll log in with the main and subscribe. This guy's incredible. We'll have to watch more, but this was wow. I was not expecting. How does he do it? It's so fluid. Even the standing animation, look at that.
Round one.
Man, that's crazy. What else does he have? Yeah, he does a lot. How often? Not that often, because it probably takes him forever to make these, but I'm definitely gonna watch more of these. I wonder, in terms of revenue, this is probably not very good for revenue, because these are very short, so they probably don't make much money for him, unfortunately. Or her. I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. I guess it's a guy, maybe, from the hands. Still impressive work, though. I hope he has a lot of members. Ooh, no, he's got a Hadouken. I need to see that. I want to see the Hadouken, come on. Yeah. It's not working. He needs to drink a Red Bull. Man, that was nice. Did you see the light? Ooh, give him a like immediately. This guy's a pro. This guy's a pro. Look at that light. Incredible animation. However, if it were the old school Street Fighter, I don't know if you know this, but you would have had to have the drawing of his hands inside the Hadouken. You know that, right? Did you know that the old school Street Fighter has their hands inside the Hadouken? Yeah, it's made with stop motions. It's impressive. Yeah. Thank you for suggesting that, by the way, and the cool stuff. Yeah, my most important day, totally, Joe. But thank you for suggesting this. I didn't know. I'm definitely going to watch more of their videos. This is good. I'll show you that thing. I'll prove that thing with the Hadouken. 1 second. Street Fighter 2 Hadouken. Images. There you go. So the new ones, maybe not so much, or maybe they do, I don't know. But the old ones, if you really look closely to the Hadouken, what you see as a little dark thing, it's his wristbands, and these are his hands. They are like literally projected inside the fireball. Yeah. You can even see it a little better here or here. But yeah, those are, yeah, you can actually see the hands better here. That's how it is. I actually did not know this. I figured it out very recently. Very recently. It's, yeah. It's the hands. Let's see if I can, there we go. Look at them. Look at the hands. Projected inside the Hadouken. There you go. Now you know. Yeah. It's pretty cool, yeah. I love pixel art, by the way. Everything pixel, love it. Oh, showing this guy to your daughter. Yeah, he's really good. The stop motion guy. It was impressive. That was really impressive. Anyways, I'm going to reopen chat to everyone now. 1 moment, please. Let's see who's going to be the first one to actually write in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. And here we are. Welcome back, everyone. First one is always Thunderwing the Ninja. I'm gonna call you Ninja from now on, just so you know. That's gonna be your nickname, Thunderwing the Ninja. Thank you, Snurdly, for subscribing with Prime. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much for this, for the support. And Primo Elf says, I really liked Star Wars Fallen Order. And that felt kind of like a Souls game with lightsabers. Ooh, I mean, I never played that, but already that description makes it sound like something I would love. 100%. A lot of games are still made with pixel, of course, yeah. Particularly in the indie department. Totally. Yeah, he always wins, Lady Jennifer. It's like it's always him. Boom. I don't know how he does it, but it's always him. Almost always. But yeah, really good. Ah, I see the computer. Yeah, yeah. I can never understand people writing first under a video comment. I mean, I guess it's fun that you randomly happen to be the first person to click on a video. It's just that, I mean, if it makes people happy, feel free to do it. I never really reply to the first comments because what am I going to say? Congratulations. I don't know. Maybe I should. No idea. Yeah, exactly. You're right, Thunderwing. But most of the times you're like, boom, podium right there. You ever consider making a video on the Viking anime Vinland Saga? Yeah, I never watched it, so I probably should at one point. I'm not sure I would go, though. It's a little bit of an out. Maybe for the third channel. I'm not sure if I would do it on the main. Maybe. I know which one it is, though. It looks pretty good. The armor and weapons look pretty decent. I'm just fixated with this image. I just love the lighting. That's some really good Photoshop right there. Really good Photoshop skills. You would love it, yeah. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. But yeah, 9:30. I think, guys, I'm gonna call it a night. I know I started a little late, but I am starving, so I'm gonna go make dinner for tonight. I mean, at the end of the day, we still managed to review all the things we wanted, and we even did more. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much for everyone becoming a member of the channel, of course. Appreciate you being here. I'm going to go rest a little bit, and I might come back online later if I'm not too sleepy. I might come back later to continue the horror game. If I'm not live on Twitch later, then it's probably I'm probably going to play it tomorrow. When it comes to Olive Garden, yeah, well, I'll make a video. It's been done. It's been funded, and I'm a man of my word. Just like I was with when I said any donation is going to go for Kermit, and then I did get Kermit. Likewise, I did promise that I was going to do Olive Garden, so I will. I'll make a video. It's probably not going to be a live stream because I don't want to be annoying to the people who are working there. But plus, I don't know how the connection is. But I will film it, and I'll make the video, and we'll see what happens. Anyways, thank you so much, everyone, both on Twitch and YouTube. I really appreciate you being here. Good stream. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, it was a great chat. And I'll be live again tomorrow, same time, 5 p.m. Central Daylight Time. And I might be live later on for some gaming, maybe. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good one, guys. Thank you for your generosity. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Ciao, ciao.